Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. It's Friday and I'm ready to party. Glad to have you here. Don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to the channel so you can join us every Monday through Friday here on the Wake Up America show. You know, Fridays we have a lot of fun. You know how we do. It's Freedom Family Friday. That means my smoking hot redheaded libertarian wife, Stephanie Peterson, in studio.
Yeah.
What's up, Steffi?
I'm here and I'm ready to clean some toilets.
You're gonna make America great. You're gonna make toilets great again there with our Donald.
My Trump toilet brush.
Your Donald Trump toilet brush. Wave it around. There you go. Put your hands in the air like you just don't care.
It scrubs real nice.
Nice to see you. Glad to have you here with us today, Steffi. You're looking beautiful.
Thank you.
I love your wife.
You're so sweet.
Nice to have you.
Compliments are nice.
Compliments are nice. Let's all start off
And I
the
think
day.
you look very handsome yourself.
Thank you very much. We love each other very deeply.
I said the other day, you're an Adonis.
Yeah, well, you love looking at my naked body in the mornings, but I don't.
I know.
But that's okay. You know, listen. It doesn't mean that you can admire perfection. It's fine. If you're just tuning in the show, don't forget. You can also text us. Let us know what's on your mind this morning at 573-319-1586. Again, text the show anytime, night or day, at 573-319-1586. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's get the show on the road. 76% of Republican voters say stop the debates. It's time to get behind Donald Trump. How do you feel about that? Love to hear your thoughts. We'll talk about that at the top of the show. At 7:20 this morning, high school in New Jersey in an uproar when male students used AI to create deep fake adult pictures of their fellow female students. Yikes.
Oh, dear.
I'm so glad that I did not have this technology when I was growing up in high school.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
Adolescence was hard enough.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that this morning. We'll get there in just a few minutes. At 7:35 this morning, a really good article that I read from a gentleman by the name of Aaron Wren. His article is titled, Evangelicals Need to Stop Shaming Men. They need to stop delivering hectoring man-up lectures that simply drive men away. So interesting. So I have a background.
That's interesting.
Right, my background is in an evangelical.
Oh, you did grow up that way?
Right. So Southern Baptist, which is what I was raised in, is an evangelical tradition.
Oh, okay.
Now, it was a little different when I was going to church in the 90s. Than it is today. And what I've seen today from some of the speeches that you'll get from pastors, it's very female-centric. We like to call it gynocentric, female-centric stuff. And they deliver these lectures to men, like, you better man up and marry these women and all this stuff. And it's just that's why a lot of these guys are going and listening to Andrew Tate and these other people that aren't necessarily Christians, or inviting them down the path of being, more evangelical. And it's a big conversation to have. I'll be curious to hear the audience's thoughts on it. I'm sure people are going to have a litany of opinions.
Oh, yes.
We'll hear that this morning from them. At 7:51 this morning, birds aren't real. Well, they are, but they're racist. They're racist birds.
It's like, is there anything that people will not touch and try to change?
I love it because I know NPR is like your sister's favorite article.
Yes, she listens to it a lot.
I know. So I just wonder if she probably listened to somebody talking about that on a segment, was probably like, well, they should rename those birds.
Right. Why not?
Yeah, it's just, you don't want to have birds. Like, the last thing that you want is somebody being part of an ornithological society sitting around looking at photographs of birds and then not, considering the possibility of turning into Adolf Hitler, essentially, because they read the name of a bird and then looked up the name of that person and then started to find out that person supported, National Socialism, and they're like, "Oh wow, thanks." But thankfully they've renamed the birds, so if that way people won't read the names and think, "Wow, racism." That's cool.
This is certainly what keeps me up at night. I think about bird names often. The white tufted titmouse. I really hope they keep that name.
You gotta admit, this is some funny Schmidt.
Yes,
we're gonna talk about.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be fun. Yeah, it's Friday, so we like to lighten things up and goof and talk about fun stuff. At 8:00, you liked this article that I shared. People with poor speech etiquette.
Yes.
Always use these 7 rude phrases.
Because I think I might use at least one or two.
We all do. We don't realize sometimes when we're being passive aggressive. right? Sometimes it's difficult for us to know, but a lot of times people who are passive aggressive are being that way, and they're completely oblivious to it, or or even if you're not being passive aggressive, the language that you're using may be construed as such, right?
Right.
So, anyways,
language is persuasive by its nature.
it is. Language is powerful. It is powerful. So we'll talk about that at the top of the 8 a.m. hour. And at 8:23, do men find muscle-bound females?
Oh, this one gets my blood boiling.
This
I
one
like
gets
it.
a lot
I
of.
like it.
Do men find muscle-bound women attractive?
Yes.
Because
I know what I find attractive.
Well, just wait. Don't drop your opinions yet. We got to make them come back and hear us talk about this at 8:20 this morning, because there's this video that was shared around of this woman who was cut, right, strong, six-pack and everything, and everybody was debating about whether she was attractive or not, and like the lesbians were weighing in, and the black guys were weighing in, and everybody was having this fight, and influencers were raging, and so it's going to be fun today. We'll talk about that. I'll play the video.
We all look for something different.
We all do. We're going to talk about that on the 8 o'clock hour, though. And then at 8:30, I know you love this topic. At what age are our brains adult?
And this got my blood boiling as well.
You always talk about this.
Yes.
You talk about this all the time.
But I say a very different age than what this article says.
Yes. Now, this is a new study.
I stand firm.
It's called neurodevelopment, right?
Yes.
At what age do we reach cognitive maturity? You need to be able to be a little more flexible, because I'm possibly changing your mind on this one.
I know.
This is always what I've been saying.
Oh, I'm definitely open. It's just something new to wrap my mind around.
And we'll talk about one last thing before we go today. You're always talking about our dog's feet smelling like corn chips.
Yes,
like Fritos.
I love Fritos. I just ate Fritos yesterday.
Right, but have you does that make you want to chew on our doggy's paws? Maybe that's why our dogs lick their paws so much.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, Fritos.
Tastes like Fritos.
I love Fritos,
says George. We'll talk about that at the end of the show today. Why your dog's feet smells like corn chips. Delicious, delicious corn chips. Nom, 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 nom. All right. Well, let's before we do, let's talk about 76% of Republican voters say it's time to stop the debates. Ron DeSantis went on MSNBC the other day. He was asked about the charges against Donald Trump, how he feels. Take a listen.
Did say, Governor, at that August debate when the question was put to the entire panel, if Donald Trump is convicted, will you still, and he is the nominee, would you still support him? And you raised your hand. You're a lawyer. You've served in the Navy. You were well trained at the greatest schools. Do you really believe that a man who's convicted of, say, attempting to overturn the 2020 election or taking nuclear secrets back to his beach club, do you actually still, as we sit here today, believe that person should be president?
So I signed a pledge, Willie, and that pledge is what it is. Now, do I think somebody under those circumstances could get elected president? The answer is no. That will not happen. I think that Republican voters will understand that as we get closer to voting. But it would be fatal in a general election, and I don't think the party should nominate in that situation. However, I signed the pledge. I'm a Republican. I don't think it's going to come to that, and I think we'll get the job done like we need to. But the reality is I signed it, and that's what I did.
So you stand by that this morning?
In that situation. However,
there you go. So you got to ask yourself.
I mean, you pledged to vote for Gary Johnson, even if you didn't win the nomination. So that's kind of similar to what these people are talking about.
It is.
Right?
And here's the thing: like, if you're involved in party politics, I believe in party discipline, right? If you're going to join a member of a political party, run for office, campaign, right, and if you make certain pledges, either to the voters or to the to a party, to an extent, you should maintain those pledges, right?
Sure.
So, like, don't make the lesson there is don't make pledges you won't keep.
Do you think you would have pledged to do that if you were running as a Republican and they were like, "Hey, the nominee, you got to vote for them"?
And the reason why is because I'm comfortable voting for any of the candidates who are there to a large extent, knowing that it wasn't going to be Nikki Haley or Mike Pence or anything like that, but like any of the Republican candidates that are on the stage right now or that are still in the race right now. Mike Pence is out of it, but any of the candidates that are Republicans right now, I could comfortably vote for. So yeah, I could make a pledge like that.
probably wait to make that pledge until the group is just so
that's
that
just
I
not
actually
how
feel
it
comfortable
works.
with it. Because I'd be like, what if Nikki Haley did get in? That'd be scary.
That's unfortunately that's just not how these things work, right? And
Right.
because here's the thing: if you wanted to be in the last debate, you had to make that pledge.
I know, I remember that.
So it being in the debate is worth making such a pledge, especially if at the end you do say to yourself, well, I am willing to make this kind of a pledge and support someone in the general election. I mean, because it's obvious the difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump is like night and day, despite what a lot of people like to say. Oh, they're not any different. They're not any different. Okay, well, they are very different, actually, if you look at their policies.
But I mean, Trump at least can say a sentence clearly.
Yes, I would like.
That's one difference.
It would be nice to have a lucid commander in chief.
Yes, I think so.
It would. So here's what we're looking at right here in terms of the this poll. Trump heading to a landslide win. 76% say end the debates. Former Trump has the biggest primary lead yet. It's getting bigger and better. It's just like last time in 2016. He just started going up and then he never went down after that. He's got 47-point lead over DeSantis and Nikki Haley. They're both stuck at 8%. They don't even have double digits.
Eek. Yeah, I mean, I think Trump is going to be the nominee. I'm convinced of that myself, but I'm still not convinced of if he would actually win against Biden. However, I do see a lot of people on the left who are speaking out against Biden at this time because of his decisions with Israel. And so I am wondering, who are those leftists going to side with come election time?
Right.
Is Biden going to make it up for them, or are they going to choose someone else?
Yeah. Oh, boy, that's a whole nother ball of wax, right? But the second point on this from the Washington Examiner says most Republican voters, 76%, want to end the GOP debates and have the focus turned to Trump versus President Joe Biden. Now, this is, listen, I mean, more debates I tend to think are a good thing. Don't know that I'm standing with the 76% just yet. I do think that Trump is probably inevitable. I don't know that it necessarily hurts us to have more debates, but I don't think that debates are going to really change people's minds.
Right.
So I don't have a hard stance on this question, but I am shocked that the number is so high. 76% want to end the debates. I mean, that is a lot.
That is. I mean, I know people like my sister actually watch the Republican debates, and my sister is a Democrat. And so that's what's extra interesting to me is she was actually telling me which candidates she was siding with the most. And Nikki Haley was actually one of them for the last debate. And so who knows? I mean, maybe these debates do change some minds or at least make some people think about things and consider other
If it weren't for the debates, I wouldn't have been so impressed by Vivek Ramaswamy. It was thanks to his performance in the debates that I actually saw him as a credible vice presidential candidate. I actually think that he would be a good VP pick for Donald Trump. But listen to this. Another good reason to potentially end the debates and let's get going is the lead that Trump has over Biden. It's the highest it's ever been, 48% to 43% in national polls. A majority of people in this poll show that they believe the Biden presidency has been a disaster. A sizable majority believe that politics has played a role in the DOJ's targeting of Trump, and 56% believe it was Biden who sicked the dogs on his rival. By nearly 2-1, voters feel justice and the IRS are giving Biden and his family special treatment while dropping the hammer on the president's enemy. John McLaughlin, the pollster, says if the election were held today, it would be Trump in a landslide. That's wild.
Are these polls that accurate? I always wonder if we can really believe those.
Listen, you should take any poll with a grain of salt. But generally, there are certain polls that I think have more weight than others. This is McLaughlin and Associates. They've been around for a long time.
Okay.
They do have a reputation for being more reliable, although, you shouldn't base your opinions about polls, right? So a lot of times polls are not necessarily commissioned to tell you what people think, but they're commissioned to tell you what to think. Right.
Right.
They're not commissioned.
If it's popular, I might as well go in that direction.
Yes, it's meant to convince people of things, right? So, and I'm open to accusations of bias on a poll like this, and if you want to try and point to something else that's a counterfactual, I won't immediately dismiss it.
Struggling with the fact that Trump will win. I don't know if he really will. I'm not convinced.
I think if it were held today, he might. If it were held today, he might. And there's a variety of factors that go into something like that. I think that people listen. Remember Stacey Abrams, that clip that I played for you earlier?
Yes.
And she was struggling.
So Stacey Abrams
let me play this.
Loves a certain candidate.
Yeah, listen to this. How she describes Joe Biden. Take a listen to this.
Are you satisfied with the job he's done as president? What he's delivered on? I think President Joe Biden has been an exceptional president on a range of issues. He has overperformed expectation. He has navigated incredibly difficult circumstances, and he has shown that he is willing to stand with the people of Georgia, with the people of this country, to move the nation forward.
I mean, her statement was so general.
She sounds so convinced, right?
Doesn't she? Does.
She sounds like you could tell in the passion in her voice that she's really excited to go vote for Joe in next year. Here's the thing. Well, they will, right? But here's the thing. I think that deep down, and there have been a lot of stories that have come out about this. I think deep down, a lot of Democrats are wishing that it was your sister's governor.
Oh, Governor Newsom?
Yeah, Gavin Newsom.
I mean, he has been touring. He was in China. He was in Israel. I mean, he's doing like a worldwide tour.
Yeah, he has
to run for office, it seems.
He has been touring around. Yeah,
he might as well start making a band and performing for people whenever he travels.
Our friend Boris the Blade over on Twitter. Good morning, Boris.
Boris, we love you.
Yeah,
I know you from Twitter.
Yeah, he says, I don't think Trump will be allowed to run. Deep state, DNC, rhinos, the entrenched a-hole coalition will not let him. They're just trying to push through this legal stuff against him or get convictions, at least tie him up too much. Question mark, he asks.
Ooh.
Not a bad question.
I mean, it could be. I mean, Trump might not even be able to run, right? With all of his legal troubles.
You can run.
He still can.
Yeah, okay. You can run from jail, and he might. And that's honestly, I know.
Can?
Yeah.
I thought cell phones aren't allowed in jail. So how could he record himself and stuff?
So there's a precedent for this.
Actually,
and the judge and I were talking about this last week.
This is juicy.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was a lieutenant governor of some state. I can't remember. Maybe it may have been Pennsylvania. Somebody fact check me on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But it was during John Adams' presidency, and John Adams persecuted people for speech under the Alien and Sedition Acts.
I heard about.
Yeah,
I'm not very happy about that.
I know. So I've been talking about that a lot this week. The Alien and Sedition Acts. And,
shocking.
And so he persecuted someone for who called him apparently to his face. He called John Adams your rotundity, which is, you know what rotund means?
Large.
Fat, right.
So he was fat?
John Adams was.
No, he was fat?
He got fat so by the time he was president, he's fat.
Oh my.
And so the guy who called him that, somebody check the name on this one because it's such a fascinating piece of history.
Great.
Got him jailed. The guy who was in jail ran for office while he was in jail and I think won. I'm pretty sure he won.
Good for him. He should be able to call people fat.
Yeah, of course you can. You should be able to make fun of the president's weight, size, height, penis size, anything you like. Exactly. Shame on John. Well, and here's the thing. That's why Thomas Jefferson was like, "Oh, screw this. I'm running for president.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running for president," and against John Adams, and he did, and he won, and they were enemies for a long time until the end of their life.
They died, and then they died on the same day.
They died on the same
5
day.
5 hours apart.
And John Adams' last words were,
"Is he dead?" Something like that.
No,
he is dead. He said he knew that he was dead.
No. John Adams' last words were, "Jefferson lives."
Jefferson lives. Yes.
But Jefferson had died.
Yes.
2 hours before that.
That's right.
Yeah. So 2 hours before Thomas Jefferson had died, and John Adams' last words were, "Jefferson lives." It's kind of wild, isn't it?
It is a
crazy story.
Wild.
But you can. There is a precedent. You can run for office while you're in jail and win. And the reason why, and that's specifically because if you are being persecuted by the government and they put you and they jail you as a political prisoner, like potentially Donald Trump, then if the people vote for you, then they obviously are saying, we see this as a great injustice and we want to see this person released. So here's the thing. Then we're set up for the question of, if Donald Trump goes to jail and he wins the presidency, can he pardon himself?
Aha.
If it's a state crime, many people, including the judge, say no. If it's a federal crime, many people say yes.
So you can't pardon people for state crimes?
In theory, you're not supposed to be able to. But this has really never been.
The governor can pardon you, right? Of your state?
In some states.
Okay.
Not all governors have pardon power in every state, right? In Missouri, they do, but not in every state. So, and I don't know Georgia. Somebody can fact check us on this one. But anyways, neither here nor there. I think that it would be a fascinating question, even though it would be a constitutional crisis. And at least politics wouldn't be boring. I mean, you know.
I mean, I would be interested in seeing someone run for president from jail.
I know. I would too.
I would like watching
exactly.
So you're
it's
saying
the only entertainment we can get these days.
Any inmate in prison at this very moment in time could say that they're running for president, and they could get cameras in the jail and start campaigning and all that and raise money.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. I think somebody in jail, if you're listening to us right now, you should run for president.
Yeah. Well,
can you do that with any office? Like you could run for Senate, run for governor, mayor, anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there might be some state laws that would prevent you from seeking like a state office, but it wouldn't stop you from running for federal office. Right.
This is cool. See, this really gives people in jail some meaning. I mean, make a purpose in your life. Run for office.
I guess. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe, for sure. Especially if you think that you've been unjustly convicted.
Well, it's just because last night we were actually watching a video about people in jail who have TikTok channels and accounts.
And they get cell phones in jail. Yeah.
Yeah. And they actually get more jail time because of having these cell phones and these TikTok accounts. And so maybe if those people, if they just channel that energy into running for office.
Jamal,
I wouldn't vote for them, but they can do it.
Jamal Brown ain't going to be spending his time running for office. They're trying to figure out how to make, pizza in their little dormitories.
Yes.
I think we probably expended the use of these metaphors here and these analogies. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. Happy Friday, Freedom Family Friday. Lovely Stephanie Peterson here, my wife, who's joining us right now.
My wife.
Glad to have you here. My wife. Click that like button, will you? Subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate it very much. Help us spread the message of economic freedom and personal liberty. That's what we're all about here on the Wake Up America show. We believe in liberty. We'd love to see less government, more freedom. That's what we're all about. Stephanie and I, we run the Wake Up America show live stream 5 days a week, and it's part of our small business. It's kind of like, the wide end of the sales funnel, if you will. We want people to learn about our ideas, fall in love with us, and hopefully become a part of our campaigns for liberty. We want you to get more involved. So if you're interested in learning more about us, definitely check out wakeupAmericaShow.com. But another great way to help support the show and to get cool merch is to visit ap4libertyshop.com. Now, Stephanie,
a toilet brush.
Tell them the story here about the toilet brush here, because I think people will probably be surprised to see that after what I said yesterday.
Story of the toilet brush. Well, I don't really know how we found the toilet brush, but basically this is Trump.
Yes.
And maybe should I take off his plastic?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, he's really cute.
Yes.
So basically his hair is the brush part. There we go. See, he's very golden, as the real Donald Trump is, very tan. And so anyways, drain the swamp.
Yes.
I think that's probably really where it came from.
Yes.
Because you want to drain the swamp with your toilet brush. So when you're at home, you can just be draining that swamp of your toilet.
Here's the funny thing.
And you can love Trump or hate Trump, but still love this brush.
I think either way, it's a good gift for somebody if they love Trump or hate Trump. But here's the thing. I have to apologize because I said something I was wrong yesterday.
What?
I thought we only had one of those left.
Oh, yeah. I seriously thought we only had one or two, and we sold 2 of them yesterday. And then I looked in our storage area and I was like, whoa, there's like 6 here. So currently we have 4 left.
Okay. So we did sell 2 of them yesterday. Yeah. We have 4 of them left. And once we get them in, because they don't sell very fast necessarily.
No.
But, and it takes a long time for me to source those. Those are the last ones. So the last 4 is what we have today. So visit AP, since Trump is inevitable, get one at ap4libertyshop.com before they're gone. Otherwise, they are not easy to find. And like the shipping takes forever and all that stuff. So if you order one today, get yourself a cool Trump toothbrush, toilet brush.
We should have a Trump toothbrush. That'd be so cute with his like little hair on top of the toothbrush.
Exactly. Make molars great again. Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
Yeah. So
we're so excited about this weekend because we're going to be adding some holiday coffees to
yes.
the shop.
Excited for that. For that. AP4libertyshop.com. We'll be adding some new coffees, so keep an eye out for that. Tons and tons of things happening over at the store. Make sure that you visit the shop today and get yourself some cool stuff. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Ready, Steph?
I'm ready.
Okay, Wall Street Journal. Fake nudes of real students cause an uproar at a New Jersey high school after boys shared fake pornographic images made of female classmates. Both the school and the local police began investigating. So Westfield High School in New Jersey, they found out the boys were sharing nude photos of them in group chats. But the images, were not real, digitally, altered, deep fakes, as we call these things. And now we have this question about legality. Stephanie, you probably have a lot to say about this.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many thoughts going through my mind because when I grew up, I remember in middle school, there were kids that had like photos going around school, but they were real photos that they like took with their cell phone because we were just starting to have cameras during that time in our lives. But now it's like we not only have cameras, but now we have AI. Deepfake has been around for a long time. I remember hearing about that years and years ago. I don't know exactly when it started. And I don't know how people made deepfake without AI. I don't know. Did they like copy and paste a head onto a body? I think that's what used to happen. But now, it's like you can barely distinguish real from fake. And in terms of kids spreading photos of naked kids around, like that's essentially child porn. And then if other people are looking at those photos, like adults, is that considered, a crime to be looking at fake photos of children? It's like so deep. I don't even know what to think. And in terms of these children and their lives, it's so true. Like if you have risque photos of yourself, and if you try to become a teacher in the future, for example, your career, I'm not sure how long you're going to last as a teacher if you've got photos surfacing. So, and people are not going to be looking at these photos and being like, oh, is this real or fake? I'm not sure. They're just going to spread it to as many people as they know.
Well, think about this too. If let's say that, it comes out, it's obvious that it's fake. It's not you. But what about 10 years from now? Right? What happens if, 10 years from now, you may have like an employer and they find those images of you online.
Like if you're a teacher, for example, like that is the number one career, I think, right now that's being exposed for photos.
Is teachers.
Yes.
Right.
The OnlyFans photos.
But here's the thing. The problem is that you can say all day long, these aren't pictures of me. These aren't real.
Right.
But a job recruiter.
That MFer is not real, right?
Right. But a job recruiter isn't going to care. They're not even, they're just going to see it, think it's real, and then they're going to just disqualify you from the position, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then think about this, like that can happen because of something that people did 10 years ago. But imagine what people could do to you, like weaponize it against you. Imagine how much this is going to be weaponized against people, politics, celebrities, journalists.
Oh my God,
it's just huge.
You're right. Politicians.
Yes.
What, Anthony Weiner, didn't he have some sort of
he had
photos
actual
come out about
nude
him?
photographs come out.
Right. But he could say like, oh, those are fake. That was AI generated. Like anyone nowadays can just deny any photos, which is a good thing in a way. So if you really have real photos out there surfacing, you can be like, that's fake, I swear. But it's like, who can believe you?
Floby Tenderson says that Moira Rose told everyone to take nudes and post them so they can be found in 20 years. LOL. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
At this point, naughty photos. Blue Trike says, at this point, naughty photos might help you become a teacher.
Boy.
Okay, Blue Trike.
I just wonder in the future, because there's just so many nude photos all around of the Kardashians, of, every large figure in this world. There seems to be photos surfacing. It's like, are we going to become desensitized to that eventually and not judge people so much on that type of content?
You know what? I kind of hope that that's what the outcome of this is going to be.
I hope so.
That eventually people are going to be like, listen, there's 50-50 chance these are real or whatever. And so we can't judge people on these bases. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I really don't know, Stephanie. This is a tough question, and you kind of in the therapy world probably have a lot more insight on something like this than I would.
Mine goes into the MAP community as well, the minor attracted persons.
Because I'm like, careful what words you use.
Yeah, because I'm just like, okay, we know that they possess photos, so it's like, are they going to start using these AI generated things? And you're like, oh, it's not a crime.
They already
AI
are
generated. It's like,
they already are, and
what do you do with this?
I think they already are doing stuff like that, and they will, and I think that I think it's important for us to have a conversation about this technology and its use. I'm not saying it should be banned. Right. I'm simply saying that there have got to be some kinds of what you might call like proofs, right? There probably needs to be some kind of a requirement that there be some kind of a form of a universal watermarking.
Okay.
In order to be able to show that something is deep fake, right? So I'm not advocating for regulation necessarily, but I mean, maybe there needs to be a voluntary regulation. Some industries do this, where the
non-GMO movement, where they put non-GMO on all their food products because they want to be labeled.
Right. So like, if you want to have a legit AI software program, it would be wise for you to embed some kind of watermarking program to show that this has been digitally altered to some extent, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that being helpful. I know a lot of the major AI photo generators now don't allow for nude photos to even be created, but then there are others I was reading that you could just like Google and it's like a clothes remover, and then, you can get exactly what you're looking for there. Yeah, it is certainly a problem in terms of mental health. It's going to create a lot of mental health problems with anxiety and depression among children who are facing these issues and having these photos surface that are fake of them. I mean, it just messes with your self-esteem.
And in some places, it is illegal. Some states we saw that it was illegal, right?
Yes, there were some states. Oh gosh, I have to get back to it.
Not New Jersey, we know.
New York is one of them,
and
I believe
Virginia,
California is another one.
New York, Virginia,
where they've actually started making laws, that have to do with these new technologies. Basically, the legal system is just behind right now. We're trying to catch up with all of these new things that are going on that could possibly be legal issues.
For sure. I wonder what our audience thinks about that. Send us a text at 573-319-1586.
I mean, it's considered defamation, I would think. Isn't that defamation if you're spreading false information about someone that could possibly hurt them?
Yeah,
So you could have a civil case about it,
potentially, if you can prove it, right? But I mean, I think a lot of this stuff, it's at least in the, we're still in the early days. I mean, AI for the public really just dropped, this year. So we are right in the cusp of this.
Oh yeah, it's going to get worse from here. And I was reading in the article too that a lot of kids are now getting rid of their social media, not posting photos online. But here's what's going on. Really, it's like photos are available everywhere. So even if you shut down your social media, people are still going to have photos of you. They could still shoot photos of you with their cell phone camera secretly in the classroom when you're at school.
Yep, exactly.
So this is scary stuff, and it's truly just beyond what my mind can really problem solve for.
For sure. I'm in the background in the mornings whenever I'm doing this show. You know how I love to multitask. Well, this morning right now, I'm sitting on a trade that I'm preparing to execute on in the stock market on Apple. So last night, Apple got some bad news on their sales figures.
Really?
Yeah, and the stock crashed.
Oh.
So these are the kinds of opportunities that I'm always looking for, right? When I'm watching like the major tech companies and things like that. If they get a big spate of bad news, what usually happens in the stock market is it will the stock will crash really hard, and that becomes what they call oversold. right? So people have just like way oversold their stock because of the fear of, losing value.
Okay.
So I see that as an opportunity. So it's kind of like that Warren Buffett quote. Remember, be greedy when other people are fearful.
Yes.
And be fearful when other people are greedy.
Yes.
So like observe the herd and do the opposite. So when everybody yesterday was selling the hell out of their Apple stocks, I went in and I bought 125.
You're like, it's low right now.
Yes,
this could help me.
I bought 125 shares.
That's right.
Yeah,
I mean, unless it goes even lower, then you might be screwed. But at some point, it should come up again because is Apple going away?
No.
I mean, I have an iPhone.
No, so
I don't buy new iPhones. I still have an SE.
So when I do like day trading or when I'm doing swing trading online, I usually will set a cap for what I'll allow my losses to be, but I only trade companies that have really strong fundamentals.
Right.
I don't go in and trade penny stocks or things that are really risky or companies people don't really know a lot about. I only day trade or swing trade on stocks that I'm like, I know that if for some reason I did lose money on this one, I could just hold the stock over a long time and it's eventually going to go back up.
Right.
So,
I can't see Apple going away anytime soon.
Exactly. So I'm sitting right now, I'm $400 in the green this morning.
Yay.
And I'm thinking to myself, how greedy should I be before I sell it? And I'm saying to myself, I had a stock trade last month that I had to sit on for like 2 weeks and I was sweating the whole time because it was down $2,000.
So you made $400 already?
Well, I haven't sold it yet. So I've only made the money if I sell it.
Well, just walk away.
I know. Stephanie wants me to walk.
$400.
I know. I'm going to take you to a nice breakfast this morning.
I mean, you could buy an airplane ticket nearly to Hawaii or something with that money.
Yeah, exactly. So I will, Stephanie. I'm gambling right now that what's going to happen is that this morning when the stock market opens in an hour from now, that the stock is probably going to pop.
Oh, and so if you can't sell it right now?
I can and take the profit, or I can wait an hour from now and see if the stock goes pop. Because if it does, then maybe I'm not going to have $400. Maybe I have $800 to walk away. But I also might lose at $400 and then get nothing, and I might lose.
Benefit analysis.
So I don't know, but here's the thing: it's risky.
Yes,
stocks go up and down. This is why
we like gold, because it's not that risky.
It's not as risky.
We like silver and we like platinum. Yeah. So Lear Capital, they actually deal gold, silver, and platinum. Imagine that. I was actually browsing their website the other day, and they have super cool coins. I like collecting coins that have cool faces on them. Like they have one that has a buffalo and another that has an orca whale, and then one that has George Washington on it as part of their Mount Rushmore collection. So those are really exciting. So if you just like coins and you want to, have some coins in your house on display, that'd be a good idea. We recommend Lear Capital here. We endorse Lear Capital here at the Wake Up America show, and we're inviting you to give them a call today at 1-800-885-2175 or visit learaustin.com. For those of you who are phone averse, I know many of you are, today's a great day to just get more information, totally free, and they're not going to bug the crap out of you, I promise. If they do, say, Austin, come back and complain to my face. But they don't bug you.
They don't bug me. They won't. But
no.
So just visit learaustin.com. Sign up for a free gold and silver information and platinum information packet today at learaustin.com. Get more information. They'll send you a gold packet and learn how to invest in gold. And you don't take the humongous risks that I take on the stock market.
Us women are risk averse. So if you're a woman, go for the gold.
Go for the gold. That's great, Steph. Go for the gold. Yeah, Steph, she's our best salesman, isn't she?
She went to Lear Capital.
If you see those awesome AI-generated advertisements over on my Twitter, guess who makes those?
You make some of them, though.
I do make some of them. I do. And I
take a lot of credit.
You do get a lot of the credit. My wife is my number one fan and backer. Visit learaustin.com today or call 1-800-885-2175. That's 1-800-885-2175. All right. Well, before we go, give it a little dance.
It's actually hard to do it this way compared to this way. My brain is not wired this way.
We love Stephanie, don't we? Give her a round of applause.
Yay. I want everyone to know I've been doing my 50 jumping jacks, my 15 push-ups, and my 20 sit-ups every day this week. So I'm very proud. And I know Floby has been watching me do that and has been inspiring me to do more. So thank you, Floby.
Okay, what's next on the rundown here, Stephanie? Evangelicals need to stop shaming men. I know Camille's going to love this topic.
don't know much about evangelicals, unfortunately, so I don't know what they preach really.
Well, here's the thing. So this is I'll give you a brief synopsis, at least, of what I understand, what I'm hearing from the evangelical community is that they are essentially they're getting a lot of lectures and speeches in their churches about needing to man up. This idea, which we're hearing a lot in society in some ways. So here's what he's sharing a lot of other people's thoughts in this piece, Aaron Wren's Substack. And he says Nathaniel Blake wrote an essay arguing that an aversion to marriage by men is unmanly. Here's what he says.
A man should want to get married.
Right. And if you don't want to get married, then you're not a real man. Right.
Okay.
Anti-marriage influencers, this is Nathaniel Blake. He says anti-marriage influencers claim to be looking after men's interests, but they are directing men toward unhappy, cowardly lives. Right. The rejoinder from Davis and her followers was that the problem with marriage is in the potential for failure. Sure, a happy marriage might be great, but a bad one may be so miserable or a divorce so devastating that marriage is not worth attempting. He says Davis overstates the prevalence of these ills. They are real. Men can have their hearts broken, bank accounts drained, children taken away from them.
I mean, that is true.
Right, right. So he says this is about courage and what it takes to be a man. Sure, you can have your entire life destroyed, your children taken away from you, and be left homeless and destitute, and no one will give a crap. But be a man. That's their argument.
But still get married, even though these are the risks that you're taking.
Here's all the risks. There are the rewards could be, there might be some rewards. The risks are inherent, and if you don't do it, you're not a real man, right?
Now, does the Bible say anything about marriage other than it should be between men and women?
The Bible does say a lot of things about marriage, but it just depends on what you're trying to.
Does it say you're not manly if you don't get married in the Bible?
No, it's it does not say that.
Because Jesus wasn't married, was he?
He was not, actually.
He was avoidant of marriage, yeah?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. So the thing about Jesus is that he was sin-free. And so even though it's not a sin to get married and to live, to have a relationship with your wife within the bounds of marriage,
sure,
it was just something that Jesus avoided because he was focused on his ministry. So there are rumors that are not part of the biblical canon that he had a relationship with, I can't remember her last name, is it Mary Magdalene? But there was.
Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Well, his mother's name might be Mary Magdalene. His mom's name was Mary, and I sometimes get the last names confused. But I believe it's either the Dead Sea Scrolls, and this is not part of the Christian heritage.
Okay.
But there were rumors that he had a relationship with a woman named Mary.
Sure.
And that is not part of the biblical canon. I will tell you that. So I'm not saying that happened, but official Jesus, right? If you're looking at it from like a comic book perspective, or something like that. Official Jesus did not get married, right? So that's what you have to consider. But the problem is that in these evangelical churches, they're saying that men are being shamed for being marriage avoidant and being told they need to man up. And they're suggesting that the author here is saying that evangelicals are shaming men, saying they need to man up, marry all those single ladies in the pews, and if they don't, they're not real men, they're cowards. And he says that the problem is that this leads men to go and listen to people like Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson.
You can build them up again.
Right, right. And here's what he says. He says, evangelicals portray marriage as an unattractive life of troubles and drudge work. They blame men for everything that goes wrong in a marriage. Then, when men decide not to get married or delay it for a significant portion of time, they try to shame those men into getting married by calling them names. And while I'm not an evangelical anymore, I completely understand. People do shame you for not trying to get married. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one time I was at a baseball game in Washington D.C. seeing the Nationals, or whatever they're called these days. I don't know. Every time I just assume that every 5 years, like a team name is considered racist, and so they change it or whatever it is. The senator, I think they used to be called the Washington Senators. But anyways, I'm watching the game, and there's his husband and his wife, and this is like maybe 10 years before you and I had met. And she was asking, because I was, 30, 32 at the time, why haven't you been married and all this kind of stuff. And I was saying these kinds of things about divorce statistics. And I was talking about how terrible the dating pool is and how relationships are not in men's favor, that women have become these toxic trolls that are unfaithful. These hoes ain't loyal. And I was explaining all these things, and she was shocked, and she was really offended, deeply offended, and was trying to allude that this was something that was because of my manhood and all this stuff. And I was just throwing it back in her face. And I remember making the joke. I was like, marriage is a wonderful institution, but who would want to live in an institution? Ha 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 ha.
Right.
But she was so offended. And it's because I think it comes down to a very biological reason for that. And a lot of the shaming comes from women, not necessarily men. Men who are simps and betas, and I think a lot of religious men especially are, no offense if you are religious, there's plenty of alpha guys in the religious community. But I think a lot of men gravitate towards these churches and things like that, and then they simp for women, not just in churches, but also online, and OnlyFans simps that exist and all this stuff. But like a lot of these young pastors, for example, they don't want to hurt women's feelings, and they don't want to alienate the women in their church. And the women are going to be the ones who are going to complain if they have a problem with the pastor, or they have a problem with the church. And also the women are going to be the ones who are pushing men to go to church, because I think more and more men don't want to go to church.
I feel like it's usually the wives of the families that go to church and the men stay home.
Yeah,
because whenever I ask people, "Oh, did your mom and dad both go to church?" a lot of times they're like, "No, just my mom." And we went with my mom. So it's like, oh, okay. Right.
A lot of women push their husbands to go to church, try and get their kids a religious upbringing, because they think that's the source of the font of morals. So
they think the source of morals is the woman?
The church. They think the women think that the source of morals is their church. They want to raise their kids in a moral environment, and so they push their husband. And so, since that's the case, and since I think a lot of these pastors, they recognize that the people in the pews are women. The majority of the people in those pews are women, and that it's the women who are pushing these people to go to church. They are going to push messages that are going to say things like, "You had your hoe face, but Jesus loves you."
Yes, queen.
Yes, queen. Slay.
Yeah. Marketing to the people who are in the pews.
Marketing to the ones who are bringing in the donations. They're marketing to the ones who are pushing the men to bring into the thing. And they're giving these messages like, you need to man up, and you need to do all this. You need to do your duty as a man and marry these women, these hags.
Oh, yeah. Like I've seen, especially in the Black community, like these women, they have these like large conferences filled with single women and telling them, how they're worthy, and they'll find a man. And these women like never find men, but they lift these women up so much and say like, it's the men who have the problem. You are beautiful just the way you are. You are
perfect.
And then they're like not finding men after these conferences are over. So yes, I can see where the women are being uplifted in the church communities very much.
Our listeners are texting in. They have opinions on this topic.
Are they evangelical? Do they know what's going on?
Here we go. So we're getting texts, and you can text us too. You can text the show at 573-319-1586. Again, you can text the show at 573-319-1586. Boy, I'm really going to have to rest my voice this weekend, Steffi. No talking this weekend.
Silence.
Yes, here we go. Here's our text. Man, the pastors sound like my sister. She wants me to get married right now, or get a girlfriend at least. There's a lot of pressure from females telling men, "Oh, you need to get married, or something wrong with you. You need to man up." One listener texted in, says he's 28. He's getting both fat shamed and marriage shamed.
What?
He says by clergy. And he says, and he's Oriental Orthodox. We've got an Asian guy here.
Oh.
He says, I got scolded for asking a girl straight out if they were single for being a busybody. I got scolded for asking a girl straight out if they were single for being a busybody. So were you being called the busybody, or was the girl being called the busybody?
I'm assuming she called him a busybody because he asked her if she's single.
Exactly.
That is so bold, and that takes a lot of bravery and confidence.
You got balls,
I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Exactly.
I mean, you could have just sat back there and not talked to her, which would mean that you would have failed no matter what, but you at least put in effort and tried.
It's better to be the type of guy who, it's better to be fat than have no balls. Because I know plenty of
I just had to think about that for a second. Yes, that is true.
It's better to be fat than to have no balls. At least if you're fat and you have confidence, you can actually score girls, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really think if a guy has the right charisma and the right sense of humor,
even
if you have a dad bod or a little more to love,
it's true.
Girls are gonna like you. I mean, I remember even like having crushes on guys who I just thought were really funny, but yet, looking wise, they probably weren't a 10, and that's okay.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. Glad to have you here. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts today. You can text us in the show at 573-319-1586. Again, you can text the show today at 573-319-1586. C Jade 824 says, our church goes all out on a ladies' conference, but didn't even have a man's conference.
Oh my gosh, that's sad.
That's true. I mean, I've seen this stuff and I've heard about it. Glokas 0422 says, it's fun to bash evangelicals, but you all benefit from being around a huge population of moral, law-abiding citizens. It's true.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're not bashing them as a whole. I think just this one area is very interesting to learn about.
Just the evangelical shaming of men who don't want to get married to the fuglies in their church services.
I mean, I came from Jewish roots, so I'm thinking about this from the Jewish perspective. And I would say in Judaism, marriage is a mitzvah. I mean, Jewish people really push you to get married so much that they have matchmaking systems where they literally match young men and women together and they don't even know each other and they basically get married after meeting a few times. So marriage is looked at very differently in the Jewish faith, and to men because they're seen as the head of household.
I love this.
That is very interesting.
Whoever our new friends is, CJ824, first time I've seen her today. Hey, good morning.
Hi.
She's got some real cool POVs here. I hope you'll come back and join us, CJ. Click that subscribe button on the channel so you can find us again. I'm Austin Peterson. This is my wife, Stephanie. And we do the Wake Up America show every Monday through Friday. Fridays is when Stephanie joins us, and we talk about lighter topics like these. So, Jade, yourself, or anyone else who might be watching this and saying, hey, this is good content, and I enjoy this and having fun, subscribe to the channel and come back and join us every Monday through Friday here, 7 to 9 a.m. Central. Stephanie, CJ824 says, it's not bashing evangelicals, but this is a real problem and why many Christian males are not standing up in our society against evil due to the feminizing of the church. Ooh, that's interesting. Interesting.
That's really sad. And that's unfortunate because nobody should feel like they can't feel comfortable in church and they can't be themselves in church. That should be your safe place.
Andy Opperman says, got to point this out that being a fat woman is way easier than being a fat man in the dating world. Yes, agreed. Yes, body positivity only works one way. There is no such thing as body positivity for men. There's no male body positivity movement. The feminists are not out there marching to say, we demand that women find fat men sexy.
Right.
We demand that.
Women really value body type when they're choosing man to marry.
Yeah, I do. I have always said, and I will go to my dying day with the belief that looks are more important for women than they are for men. Right. I don't give a damn if you say men are more visually based or visually centric. When it comes to choosing a mate,
right? When
it comes to choosing someone that you will sleep with, women are picky. Men are not picky. Men will find the gutter trash behind the dumpster and be like, I might destroy my marriage for that for 5 minutes of fun. And women will be like, unless he's like Mr. Big or something like that, makes $1 million a year and has like a perfect hairline and is 6 foot tall. I'm not going to mess around on that. Right. So and that's because women are allowed to have standards and men are not allowed to have standards. Because if men have standards and are pushing standards on women, then that might mean that women might actually have to compete. And there's one thing that women hate, and this
they compete on their own.
Yes, but they hate it. They hate it, and they hate each other.
Yes,
and they hate feeling like they have to compete. And that's why I say when looks are important to women, women's looks are more important to women than they are to men.
I've experienced that firsthand.
But Stephanie,
women bashing my looks.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But Stephanie, here's the thing. Like you at first, the first time I said that to you, you rejected it strongly.
I did because I've always felt pressured to look nice because of guys. Because I always thought guys were pressuring me to look nice. based on who they would like. When I was in school, they would always like the pretty girls. So I was like, okay, I guess I got to compete to be pretty then to get the guy's attention.
Here's what an evangelical scholar by the name of Anthony Bradley said. He says, we've been down this road before. Shaming men to get married is a failed strategy in culture where many of them experience the reality of divorce. What Pearl is talking about, Pearly Things.
I know. Oh, that's actually Pearly Things.
He's talking about her. He's talking about her.
Gotcha.
What Pearl is talking about has nothing to do with why the vast majority of men in their 20s are marriage avoidant. Most of the young men I've worked with on this issue for 25 years who are marriage avoidant aren't cowards or unmanly. Most are children of divorce and were raised in homes of overbearing, smothering, emasculating mothers in the matriarchal South. This is somehow missing in the discourse about this issue. This is what we really need to be discussing. He says Pearl's not relevant. Since women initiate most divorces, young men aren't marriage avoidant so much as they are divorce avoidant.
Yes.
Or they don't want to be emasculated in marriages like the ones their fathers were in and have witnessed for 30 years. They don't want to live a life of domesticated emasculation. It's actually in many ways a rational choice. Damn, that is good stuff.
I mean, as a woman, I actually experienced both. As a kid, I'm from a divorced household, and my mom did wear the pants in the family. So I've seen both scenarios, and that's why I was so marriage avoidant, mostly because of the divorce issue. But my mom is not the one who asked for the divorce in this case.
So yes, when I see men, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. I don't know where that quote. I've heard that quote from before. It's not my words; it's somebody else's. It rings true. I have seen men in marriages that are unhappy, that are being, destroyed, henpecked by their wives, and who grew up with being emasculated by their mothers and being put in second place. The whole idea of a man cave, for example, is this idea that the men have been sequestered away in the home, and this is their space that they can have, and even still, like, women will encroach on this space, and women will, because that's another big problem, is that men aren't allowed to have their own spaces. But even if they do have their space, it's the rest of the house is the rest of the families, right?
Because like, don't mess with my pink wallpaper. Go to your man cave.
So like, what was and like, this is not. I'm not necessarily trying to dominate. I'm just being who I am in many ways. But the first thing that I did when we got ourselves into the new house was to what?
First started decorating yourself.
Yeah, and did I decorate one room?
No, you decorated the whole house.
Yes, our entire house. Like, if you walk into our house, you'll see family pictures. You'll see,
which I put up. Like, I started adding family pictures. I started adding some of my own after you added your stuff.
Right.
Yes.
But the first thing that I came in is I came in and, like a dog, I peed on everything in the house.
Yeah, was that purposeful? You did that on purpose?
I think I just did it not purposeful, just instinctually.
I mean, just because of my own personality, I mean, I'm bad at making decisions, and you already had most of the furniture and decorations anyways. I put as much as I could fit in my car and drove to Missouri, so I didn't have very much anyway. So I thank you for decorating our home, or else we would have had to spend a lot of money to buy new things for it.
Sure. So the point of this though, is that, like, I'm not going to be like cut out of my own home, right?
No,
and the thing is that as much as, and I'm not an evangelical, right? And I don't like hold to like the kind of patriarchal views that you might, traditionally see from someone who is like, an Islamist or a Christian or even Jewish men frequently, right? That thinks that there is a set role for a man. However, I think that there are probably some biological underpinnings for the type of behavior that men and women engage in. And I'm not going to restrict myself or my biological desire to act out my prerogatives, because I think that there's a natural, healthy masculinity that I can exude that places you not in a subjugate role to me, but it provides a healthy balance. I think what we've seen is a hyper feminized world, hyper feminized relationships where the woman dominates in relationships, and you see this in these Christian marriages, and you see this in secular marriages as well, where these men are just the providers and they shut up and they have no other say. And like, even yourself, like, we've had conflict over the question of discipline.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you would agree and understand that, like, discipline, force, violence, this is my world. right?
Especially for boys, when you're dealing with boys,
right?
And
Like,
consequences.
Right. Even though like our dogs which are both boys have literally been emasculated and that, they've had their balls cut off.
Yes.
You get that masculine energy from them, that rough.
Yeah,
that
they
roughness.
respect you. I mean, I was yelling at George the other day because he was licking his Frito paws. And then he wasn't listening to me. But the moment you raised your voice, he stopped immediately. Because he knows that Austin is alpha. And I may have not admitted this before. I'm just going to go. I used to think that equality in a marriage was what I wanted. But now that I'm seeing how responsible you are as the leader of our household, I'm willing to submit a lot more, and I'm actually enjoying that, which is crazy to admit.
Tell me more.
I was afraid to submit before because I was afraid of getting hurt because of, being a child of divorce. But I'm happy to be able to trust you to lead the household.
Where do you think that comes from? Is it because you feel me naturally taking that role and you trust me to make these decisions? Yeah,
I think the proof is in your actions. And so I have been able to witness your behaviors ever since I got in a relationship with you. And so it's taken me time to build that trust, to see your consistency and that you really are protecting me and that you have my best interest in mind.
Right.
And so I finally have come to that point of trust, which it takes me a long time to trust, a matter of years.
And because we've had some conflict over what is the proper role of discipline in our household, right? And over what, for example, when we had the argument about what the location of a firearm and all these kinds of things, I had to explain to you, and I think I did so as gently as possible that. I take your input when it comes to the security of the household, and I listen to you when it comes to the proper security of the household, and I want to, and you get a vote, right?
Yeah, which I did.
But you get one vote, and I get two.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it's my job to put my life on the line, to go outside when there was the scary man at the door.
I know, you literally did that.
And it's so in that situation where I'm on the front lines, putting my life on the line to defend yourself and the lives of our dogs and the lives of our future children, then I'm the one who's going to be making the decisions about the location of the firearms. And I also instill in you a sense of discipline by teaching you self-defense, by teaching you how to use these firearms, not allowing you or your fear
I see you're not trying to bring me down by leading the household. You're actually trying to lift me up and make me more powerful. And actually, I just noticed last night, so we were walking on the street of Jefferson City. It was pretty bare. There was barely anyone out. There was a little bit of a suspicious man on the street corner. And I purposely went on the outside of you so that you could protect me. And I feel selfish to do that, but I feel comfortable enough with your leadership that I wanted to do that. Right.
And you feel safe knowing that between the two of us that we could handle the threat. But I think when you talk about me lifting you up in this marriage and me taking this leadership role, I think that's a really important point, and not just to kind of pat myself on the back here or anything, but there were times when you were afraid and you didn't want to do something, and I pushed you to do it anyway. And we've talked about this in relation to what we want to instill in our children, right? If they don't want to do something, do we just let them quit?
No.
But for a while,
keep pushing them.
But the first part of our time we were having some of those conversations, you were kind of like, I don't want to force my kids to do this or anything like that.
Right. And because I knew how it felt to be forced to do things in a mother-led household.
Right.
I have never seen a father-led household. So it's very different.
Right. And Camelia's right when she says gender roles are not exclusive to Christianity.
Sure. There's gender roles in every religion. I mean, even Islam.
That's true. Joni Rankin says 27 years of marriage was managed, and I say managed because that's what it is, a contract, equality in decisions. But if a disagreement occurred, it was the husband's final word. That's interesting. Good morning from the boot heel. Good morning, Alicia Wilder. Nice to see you.
Hi.
We love our Missouri friends. Only just slightly more, but that's just because we love Missouri. where we live.
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes a certain amount of strategy on the man's part to be able to lead, but yet lift up his wife at the same time. And I don't exactly know how that happens, but I know it's happened with me.
Well, think about like how much, like when you, for example, do you remember like a few years ago when like you first started doing push-ups and you could not do one actual single real push-up?
It was so painful, and I dreaded doing push-ups, and I would say to you, I don't want to do push-ups, don't make me do push-ups, and I would cry.
You used to cry and you used to complain, and you'd be like, I don't want to do this, and you used to get I won't say you got mad at me,
right,
but you were definitely annoyed with me
when you would push me a lot and tell me to keep going.
And you would like talk back, and I would tell you to stop talking back.
Oh, yeah. You were putting me in my place. I was not used to such things.
You were not used to such things.
No.
You came from a household where your father did not do that.
No, he did not. He did not set any rules for me. My mother did.
Your mother did, right?
Yes.
So, but when it comes to like talking back and things like that, the only times, and I'm glad that I've demonstrated this to you, the only times that I've ever like put you in your place is when I'm where I'm more 100% confident that what I'm doing is the right thing. If I have any doubt in my mind that I might not be correct about something, then I won't take a stance, a bullish stance.
Right. But at that time, when I first started doing push-ups, I hadn't fully trusted you yet because my trust takes a long time to build since it's been broken down so much in my past experiences. So, that was on me that I didn't trust in you enough to believe you. And that's why I gave you that pushback. But now I trust in you, and I have experienced growth, and I have seen that you pushing me has actually helped me. And so now I don't push back so much because I'm like, I trust in the process.
Trust in the process.
Yes.
That is really difficult in a world, especially because we're both such skeptical people in many ways, that you want to question everything. That's kind of like, just who we are as as libertarians and as skeptics.
And I mean, we're humans, so we're going to have faults. We're going to make mistakes and make wrong decisions. So it's like we check each other at times.
If you're just tuning into the morning show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. We're glad and grateful to have you here. Click that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can send us a text today at 573-319-1586. Again, you can text the show at 573-319-1586. And we'd love to hear what you're thinking about the news today. We've been talking about evangelicals who are shaming the men in their congregations for not wanting to get married, and then it's kind of driving them into the arms of the Andrew Tates of the world, et cetera, et cetera. So what do you think? Have we exhausted this subject?
I'm just wondering about solutions. It's like, what can the church do to lift men up again and make them not feel like cowards?
No, that's a great question. And
maybe have male conferences?
Well, maybe. I really don't know what the answer to this is going to be. But what I do know is that it's time for us to take a very brief commercial break, Stephanie.
Nice.
Get some water, go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Go get a little bit of coffee, get something to drink. When we get back, we're going to talk about ways that you might be passive-aggressively attacking people you don't know it. Poor speech etiquette, 7 rude phrases that you need to eliminate from your vocabulary when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here. And we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America Show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupamericashow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupamericashow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself or me mom, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great. Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3, you're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me Pops build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell, this commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. Glad to have you here. Thanks so much for tuning in. Click that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you know what's good for you. Come back and join us every Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central here on the Wake Up America show. Fridays are a special day. I love Fridays. I look forward to it. Obviously, it's the end of the week. Lots of exciting things happening over the weekend, including things like sleeping, napping, and
making coffee.
Making coffee. What's that voice? That lovely, smoking hot, redheaded libertarian wifey here with me. What's up? How you doing there, sweetie pie?
I'm doing great. I was able to use my toilet brush when I went to the bathroom during our break.
You know, when you piped in about sleeping and drinking coffee and stuff, it reminds me of that video that I sent you on Instagram yesterday.
She could play.
I think I can.
So cute. So here's the thing. When we wake up on Saturdays and Sundays, so Austin is more of a morning person than I am. So usually I'm like laying in bed. I'm all cozy with the doggies. And then Austin's like, okay, time to get up, get coffee. And so he jumps right out of bed, gets his clothes on, and then runs downstairs because he's so excited for coffee. And I'm still sitting there like,
yes,
life is great. And then a little bit later I come down in my silk bathrobe and I'm like, hello everyone, would you like me to make you coffee? And then Austin's already made his coffee by the time I get downstairs. But He found a video and he sent it to me on Instagram, and I think it's about to pull up in just 2 seconds.
Yes, it is.
And it totally describes
Here
me.
it is. How my early bird husband greets me in the morning as I emerge from my slumber 3 hours after him. Here we go. Oh, okay, where's the audio?
The audio is the best part. You can't miss the audio.
Yeah, here we go.
Wonderful girl, could she be any cuter? Who's that wonderful girl? Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter?
Oh my God.
Who's that wonderful?
How my early bird husband greets me in the mornings as I emerge from my slumber 3 hours after him. Who's that wonderful girl? Cuter.
That's hilarious.
Downstairs like the princess that you are on Saturday mornings. Yes.
And wear it downstairs.
People probably like they secretly believe that like our like marriage and our domestic life isn't as kind of like Disney movie as it is, blissful as it is. I mean, it's and listen, I have no illusions to say it's always going to be this way, but like we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary and it has been 2 years of bliss. It has been wonderful.
Clients say to me, I feel like my honeymoon phase has gone away with my significant other and it's only been like so many months. I'm like, well, my honeymoon phase is still here.
Yeah. So like, here's the thing. So what do you think our secret is?
What is our secret?
Because you were saying, oh, we need to probably. You said the other day, we should have marriage counseling for people, couple counseling or whatever for people. And I was like, maybe we need to wait until we've had like more than 2 years and we've had some kids, and then we can potentially counsel other people. I was like, it might be a little premature. However,
it probably is. I mean, it's probably our mindset. I mean, we're really kids at heart, I think. And so we're always exploring and we're curious about doing new things and visiting new places. And so we just have so much fun playing together.
Yeah.
I think that's the key, is play together with your significant other, just like a kid would, watch fun shows. And I think too, in terms of physical stuff, sexual stuff, I think a lot of couples differ on that. But in terms of us, what makes us work is that we're very compatible in that way, and it's like we don't deprive each other of what we need and want in that way. So, I mean, I think that's a major part of it too, because once people get into a relationship, a lot of times the physical stuff just goes away, and that's what makes people really unhappy.
But like our relationship is so much more than the physical relationship side of things.
I think it's a part of why we're happy, obviously, and other people are not happy.
That could be it for sure. For sure, we're very compatible that way. But then there's also this, I don't know. I mean, just a respect that we have for each other. Here's the thing. If you're for a man, I think it's more important to feel respected. I know women like respect too. Everybody does. But like, you respect me so much.
I compliment you.
You give me credit when I do things, right? And it's like, I don't feel that like, most men don't like get compliments. Most men if they do something, they don't expect to be thanked. And maybe that's not necessarily, how it should be. But I think that like, whenever I do something like, and you don't ask, and God knows you rarely ask me to do anything, but if you do, if I do something that's, for the household or for whatever, you always are like, thank you. It looks great. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Like when you take out the trash, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you for getting the mail.
So respectful. Like it's like, I feel respected. And so I think that, back on that topic, and then we'll put a button in this and wrap it up. I think that if you aren't respecting your husband, if you aren't respecting the men in your life, your boyfriend, whatever, your sons, right? If you aren't respecting, giving the men in your life the proper respect, it doesn't have to be gushing over, goo-gooing, gagaing everything that they do. But at least a modicum of respect for the men in your life and the contributions that they make to your life, you might lose them. You might lose him. Or, if you're hoping a guy to get married with a guy and you're disrespecting him, or you're talking smack about him in public, you're embarrassing him in front of his friends, you're talking about him to your friends, doing the kind of stuff that makes that men will hear about, then you're destroying and denigrating him, and it's a good possibility you may not be able to hold on to him.
Absolutely.
I don't know. But,
it's
men
a
got to
really
lead to,
complicated topic.
It is.
Chemistry is something that really just can't be defined. And I think we have really great chemistry because we have so many similarities in a lot of ways, but yet differences in ways that really matter, where we balance each other out and lift each other up in that way, which I think a lot of relationships don't have that kind of balance and mixture of things. So it's like a science concoction.
Who's that wonderful girl? Come on, she be any cuter? All right, let's move on. CNBC, not quite the bad one, but related tangentially, writes an article. People with poor speech etiquette always use these 7, quote, rude phrases, says a public speaking expert, right? We all got to communicate with people on a daily basis, so it's inevitable we'll occasionally be put off, if not downright offended by some of the things we hear. But consider that maybe you might be guilty of rubbing people the wrong way. So we've got a list of 7 rude phrases that people with poor speech etiquette always use, and some things of what to say instead. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. The first one is this. Do you want to?
Do you want to?
Do you want to? Right.
Do you want to take out the trash?
So this phrase is great. Yeah. See, that's a little passive aggressive. Do you want to take out the trash? Well, no, I don't. I don't want to take out the trash.
And then a respectful wife would say, okay, that's fine. I'll go take out the trash. No worries.
Well, here's the thing. So this is, it's great if you're offering somebody a choice. When you ask somebody to take out the trash, you're not really offering them a choice, right? Right. Do you want to go, if you're actually offering someone a choice, do you want to go to lunch with me? That's when you're actually saying, yeah, I want to go to lunch, sure. Or no, I'm too busy, something like that. But if you're using it as a way to deliver orders, right? Do you want to take out the trash? Right? Then it's fake politeness.
I think the thing that I do is I say, do you want me to take out the trash? I ask for permission to do it myself, so that you have a choice if you really wanted to do it. I don't know why I do that.
Well, you don't. You up until recently, and I saw you in karate class the other night. It was awesome. You until recently, you haven't had an aggressive bone in your body. You've never had one until recently. I was really proud of you the other night when we were doing sweeps and throws, and you were manhandling your partner.
I was having fun.
I know, it was awesome to see you getting in there.
They were coming in and throwing a punch at me, and it was random, so I didn't know which punch they were going to throw. And then I had to take their arm, put my arm underneath there, put our hips in line, and swoosh them on the ground. And it was great. It was so invigorating.
So proud of her.
Yeah. And I was taking down our senseis, and they're big dudes.
Yeah. And it's it's you're learning how to use use your smaller weight and speed and advantage against somebody of a larger size. But it's nice to see you getting a little aggressive, because you need that. However, you're not passive aggressive. You're not fake polite. Right. You don't belittle. Right?
No. I really believe everything is my duty. So if anything, I'm hard on myself.
Right. But if somebody else was not like you and they were do you want to take the trash out? It would obviously be seen as coming across as sort of belittling.
Or because they would look down on you if you said no.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Just state your request directly.
Yeah.
Will you please take out the trash?
Yeah.
Just ask nicely. And then the person doesn't feel like they're manipulated. They're probably going to be a little bit more likely to pitch in. Now, if they give you guff back or they give you a problem after that, that's their problem, not yours.
Right. Then you got bigger fish to fry in terms of delineation of roles in the house.
Right. Now, here's the thing. And I'm guilty of this as much as anybody, saying, here's the thing.
I like seeing that too.
It's
fun.
How you come off as a little, you just come off as very different and stuff. Here's the thing. So here's the thing.
It's kind of listen to me. I've got this.
Right. Even if you use it inadvertently, it sounds a bit self-important. Right. So truly authoritative people don't tend to waste time on throat clearing statements.
If you're really confident in what you're saying, you don't have to say that you're confident in what you're saying.
Right. So if you're actually confident, you don't have to go, so here's what you should do, right? The so is unnecessary, okay?
Right.
If you want to be authoritative, just be like, will you please take out the trash, or take out the trash today because it's coming at 5 a.m. and you need to get it out there, right? So here's the thing. Yeah. It sounds self-important, right? So
yeah, to me, I feel like I use it as so here's the tea, this is what's up. I use it as more of a fun thing.
Yes.
It's not so much trying to say like, I know everything.
CJ824 says, I say, when you get a chance, can you? That's a nice one. I think that's a nice way of saying it.
Because that gives them actually two choices.
Mm-hmm.
One, it's saying, will you do the thing? And two, it's saying, do you have a chance to do that thing? When do you have a chance? You have a choice in that matter.
Floby Tenderson has become one of my new favorites on our chat. He makes me laugh.
Inspires me.
He's got one of our don't call the cops hats.
Okay.
Call the cops, I don't give a, you know what?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's got in his profile pic. He looks badass.
Aww.
He says, I tell my sons, one day you may be able to kick my ass, but never forget, you got to sleep sometime.
You gotta sleep sometime?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. That means he could go get him.
He's going to wait till they're asleep. He's going to hurt them. Right.
Well,
right.
he has to sleep sometime too,
Yep.
Floby.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Camellia says, a little aggression is a good thing, ladies. You can still be a lady and not be a doormat. Yes.
It's called assertiveness. Assertiveness is something that we don't really learn.
Did you see that video on Instagram I played last night of those chicks from the 1920s who were doing judo?
No.
And they were like, "Oh, dude, it's so funny. It's so
that's
funny."
Cool.
Yes, it's like females from the 1920s demonstrating throws. And they're
who's that wonderful girl? Would she be any
vintage judo women.
I feel like women back in the 1920s were probably very proper.
Yes.
How it was?
Retro BJJ judo lady.
Surprised me throughout history. Sometimes women are a little more aggressive than I think they would be.
Yeah. Okay. So this is not the exact video that I was looking at, but here it is. This is some of these women in judo. I love watching this.
Outfits.
I know. Aren't they cute? Look at this. Judo gymnastics.
That outfit to karate class.
Look at here. Judo gymnastics. Let's see. Let's watch this lady give her a throw. Look at this.
Whoa.
I love the music too.
And don't do that ever again.
Yeah, exactly. Look at him grabbing his hair.
How?
Look at that. There you go, ladies. There you go. Look, I love that she's doing it in like these little mid-high heels. Look at that. Look at that. Look at her go. Getting his ankle. Now that's a real move.
I was just talking to the other girl in our class the other day that wearing high heels would really help us because we could use that as a weapon to stab.
I'm loving it. Look at this. She's going for the. You know what that move was? You know what that
was? It. He's a Getty.
He's a Getty, Stephanie. That's right. Knee to the face. He's a Getty. He's a Getty.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, she did your throw. She did your throw.
This lady's really good.
I love that she's like got a little cocky attitude to her, and she looks smoking. I mean, she looks hot. Look at her go. Look at her go. Look at that. Look at that.
Good at rolls.
Dude, she did a knife hand to this.
I mean, I nearly break my neck when I roll, so that's great.
Dang. There, look at her. Oh, yeah. Get in there.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, damn, finish him.
I feel like she's still calling him sir, even at the end. She's probably like, there you go, sir.
But I just love how she's got swagger. Ooh, look at that. Dude. Do not mess with that chick. Look at her go. Look at her go. Oh, he's got her in there in the choke. Look at that. Look at that. Bam. Oh, she went in for the single leg takedown there on that one. Nice move.
Wow.
This lady's
King Getty?
The King Getty, the groin kick.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at that. Going in for the leg twist there on that one. He's tapping out. He's tapping out.
Wow.
Self-defense for women from the mid-1900s. Here we go. Probably 1940s, 50s here. Destroy the axis.
The key is you have to be feminine, but yet fierce.
But she does this. Like, look at this. Like, look how she's like, she's sassy, she's sexy, she's got nice gams, right? And then the lady in the background is doing like the strength training. Look at that. She knife disarm.
Imagine being the like announcer person talking about what's happening in this fight. That would be so funny.
Look at this lovely lady. Take him on. Don't you dare put a hand on her. Look at that. Boom, knife to the back. Knife to the. Like, you may think that you're big, but at these moves, you can actually take out a man twice your size. Oh, he's got a gun to her back. Gun to her back. Oh, no, don't do it. Oh, look at that. Oh, gun disarm. Gun disarm. Look at that. There you go. She got the gun, too. Give it up.
Does she know how to use a gun, too?
Apparently. Oh, she's pulling out a belt. Hold on. I want to see that. Hold on.
You do not use that belt on me.
Look at this. Hold on. Look at this.
You probably just got done spanking her.
Look at this. She's like, I'm going to spank you. Damn, you know she's probably great in bed. There she goes. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. She pulls off the belt. She whips him around. These ladies are like, hell yeah. They want to be a part of that. There she goes. Oh, that's a Sayanagi. That's a good judo move. Sayanagi. Grabs his hair, pulls him down.
She pulls the hair?
Mm-hmm. Later, he's going to pull her hair. Good uppercut. Yeah, that was awesome.
Wow.
That was fun.
That was really cool. I've never seen something like that ever in my life. I feel inspired.
Fun. He's getting up slower and slower, says Leisha Wilder.
I feel
yeah,
extra
exactly.
feminine now that I know karate.
Yeah. Joni says they never taught that in my high school gym class.
No.
Camilla says that's a little kinky. Studio 314 says I haven't heard gams used in a long time. So
wow. Oh, the stock market just opened.
Stock market just opened.
Do you still have your Apple stock in there?
I still have my Apple stock in there. We're gonna see how
Did it go up? Did it go up?
Right now it looks like it's a little in the red, but popping up green. I tell you what.
You lost some money, did you?
I did.
Is it
yes.
under 400?
It's under 400.
This is where we can't always let the man lead. You gotta listen to me sometimes.
You're right. You're right.
Should have sold it.
It's up 300 right now. Should I sell it?
You know what? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Hindsight is 20/20.
I tell you what, it's up $300 right now. Should I sell it?
It might increase. You're saying it's increasing, right?
Well, it's there's it could go down the red. Why don't we go?
What do you guys think in the chat? Should he sell it?
It's going red. It's going red.
No, sell it. Is it going down?
Sell. It's going down. It's going down.
Oh my God. So it's probably going to keep doing this over and over, right?
Yeah, it goes down and then it goes up. It goes down and up.
This
it goes
is too
down and up.
much for me.
You know what? It's the thing is like you just can't look at it. You gotta just like take a swallow, take a deep breath. The stock market is not for weenies. You can't just sit around and be like, oh, I can't. I'm gonna cry because it's going down. It's going down. You just have to have strength. You have to have courage.
You just have to have gold.
There you go. You just have to have
gold.
Then
you're going to be okay.
And you just have to have coffee, like our delicious Founding Flavors coffee. A quick word from our sponsors. Take a look and a listen at ap4libertyshop.com. Stop drinking coffee from corporations that hate you. Try some Founding Flavors instead.
Force behaviors. And at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the 4 olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah. Who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have glad you came out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. In the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. It's Friday, Freedom Family Friday, with me, lovely Stephanie Peterson joining us today. What's up, Steffi?
I need my theme song to be that, who's that beautiful girl?
Who's that beautiful
girl?
girl?
Play that every time I come on, and I'll be wearing a tiara.
For sure. We want to remind our listeners that the Austin Peterson and Stephanie Peterson's coffee business is open. We're ready for you guys to get your orders in there today. And now's a great time to make a big fat order for the holidays, because think about all the opportunities you're going to have to run into people that you like and love and going to parties with. The holidays. November is here. You're going to Thanksgiving. You're going to Christmas. You're going to holiday parties with the boss. What a great gift to give to maybe you've got businesses that you do business with and you want to give them a gift for being a good customer that year, a client gift. If they love America and they love freedom, give them a bag of Founding Flavors coffee at apforlibertyshop.com. If you haven't tried it yet, well, try one bag today. If you don't like it, I'll buy it back from you, right? Try a cup. You're like, Austin, this is terrible. This tastes like monkey pee. Send it back to me, okay? And I'll give you your money back. I know you're going to love it, and I know you're going to want to buy more. If you've already tried it and you love it, get yourself set up with a subscription today. I'd love it if you would get yourself set up for like a 2-week, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month subscription. Have it keep the Founding Flavors coming. That way, if you do have extra bags, like you're not going to not make use of them. You may not drink them yourself, but say to yourself, wouldn't this make a really good gift for my boss or my employee or for, my kid's teacher, for example? I mean, think about all the people in your life that if you want to show them a little appreciation for, a bag of coffee is a great gift. Wouldn't you agree, Steph?
Oh, absolutely. There's at least one person in your life who likes some sort of coffee. And even if they don't like caffeine, they like decaf. So you can give them Liberty Lullaby, Betsy's Liberty Lullaby.
Yep.
That's decaf.
Yep, for sure. So everybody's talking about investing. Stephanie, we made our sale.
We did. And we made good money. We made good decisions.
Yes. Good decisions. Yes. So last night I bought Apple when that got bad news that it had crashed because they said their sales were down. So I bought 125 shares of Apple.
Wow.
I made a $22,000 bet essentially.
That's a lot of money.
It was a lot of money that I put on the line there. But then this morning we cashed it in. We made a $400 profit.
Yeah. Don't spend it all in one place now.
Who's that wonderful boy? Could he be a better investor?
I like your words that you use. That's cute.
Yes. Could he be a better investor? And part of that's going to be me taking you out to breakfast after this, of course.
Thank you.
Because I love my wife.
Aww.
Fridays, I like to take Steffi out for breakfast. And I get to use it as a write-off as a business expense because, we did the show together and then we're going to talk business after that at the shop.
That's right.
All right.
We seriously love working on the business together. That's no joke. I mean, I'm sure all of you at home are like, yeah, they hate working. We literally look forward to weekends when we can work on the business together.
Yep, for sure. CJ824, she agrees with us about the coffee. She says that they would be super cute gifts. Amen. And Joni, she subscribed yesterday. I saw that, Joni. We love you. Thank you, Joni.
Joni is so good to us.
She is good to us. Thank you, Joni. We appreciate that very much. Brindle Bear says the boss doesn't get a gift if there isn't a bonus.
Nah, I never used to get my boss a gift. I don't know. Did you?
Yes.
Probably it depends what industry you're in. I mean, in mine, it's like I didn't get special perks if I gave my boss a gift.
Bellar, our buddy Richard from New York says, I'm drinking pain as you speak, AP.
Nice.
Yes. You like that, don't you, Richard?
Yummy.
Yes, absolutely. And then, of course, Blue Trike comes in here to pee all over our cornflakes.
What happened?
He says, how much of that $400 is the tax man going to take? Capital gains tax is going to be like, what, 26% or something like that.
At least we have it for now. Whenever I make money from my therapy business, I'm always like, really like seeing this large chunk of money for now until I pay my quarterly taxes.
Yeah,
and then it will not look so pretty.
Yeah, exactly. There was a month when we were getting this business on its feet in the last year. There was like 1 month where like we didn't have a whole bunch of advertisers and like a lot of money wasn't coming in from the shop. We weren't making a lot of sales. And there was like 1 month where I did not have money for bills. And so do you know what I did?
What did you do?
I spent the whole month day trading in the stock market.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
I ran out of money because
we still had food on the table. Don't worry.
We still have food on the table, but like it's just this business is hard. And there are some days when nobody's buying coffee and nobody's buying Donald Trump brushes and nobody's buying shirts and nobody's giving Rumble rants, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And nobody's like monthly subscribing or what have you. So I traded my salary that month. To
me, I mean, I know for a man, it's so important to be a provider. And it really is a turn on for me to see you just trying so hard to provide. I mean, that really is kind of hot to see.
As men, we kind of like we are sort of tied up like in our like careers and our ability, our ego. It's tied up in our ego, right? Our ability to provide.
Yeah,
But
even if I don't care that much, really, but still, I'm like, wow, that's a really cool quality about you. You're such a go-getter, and a lot of men are not. And I feel like if I was with a man who just like sat on the couch and like was like, oh, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for money, but wasn't actually being proactive, I probably would be kind of turned off by that. Not gonna lie.
Right. So I turn you on, huh?
Yes. In those ways, that's how you show to be a strong alpha man.
There you go. Show me. Is this a few jokes that I think I'm going to hold back on. I don't often bite my tongue, but I think I'm going to hold back on some of these things at the tip of my tongue at the moment.
Okay.
Diction is done with the tip of the tongue and the teeth and the lips. Click that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you come back and join us every Monday through Friday. Don't forget, you can send us a text message today at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Andy Opperman is joining a new faith, a new religion. It's called Adonatology. It's a religion where followers worship big, curvy women's butts.
It's Adonis. You actually would.
I think that's what it's from.
You would praise Adonis. So Adonis can be a woman? I thought it's only a handsome guy.
Well, you could. Well, listen. I mean, if you're talking about handsome guys with big old handsome beautiful butts, then look no further here, right?
You.
That's right. So, all right, let's continue on with the news. People are probably tired of hearing this stuff. We're talking about poor speech etiquette. 7 rude phrases that you can correct. This is something I am guilty of, right? In recent years,
You just said it.
it's become normalized for this pushy rhetorical nudge to follow questions, especially in interviews, right? But it's a bit of filler, and it also feels like a manipulative insistence upon agreement.
Say it one more time.
Okay. So do you think? So you think I'm handsome, right?
Right.
Right. So I'm basically.
Even if I said wrong, I guess I could have answered it that way.
You could, but I'm insisting that you agree with me when I say that, right? So I'm leading you down the path, right? I'm telling you what I want you to believe, right?
Right.
And I'm saying this because I want to get you nodding and I want to get your agreement.
I almost want you to say something that's false so that I can think about saying right.
All right. I don't have a juicy, beautiful butt, right?
No. That's wrong. See, it's like you feel that cognitive dissonance inside your head where you're like, I don't want to say right. I don't want to say right. But your brain is saying, but he said right. You have to say right.
Exactly. And it's a manipulation tactic. It's a manipulation tactic. And it works.
You manipulated me recently on purpose and you showed me this trick. Gosh, I forgot about it. We were at the dinner table and it was so cool how you like,
oh yes.
It was a great manipulation and I did not catch it.
Okay. So this is how I was explaining to Stephanie about how Marxists have taken over society.
Okay, you have a great memory. Thank you.
Using the dialectic, because I love this stuff, right? So like how Marxists and socialists, they have manipulated society to get us to accept their principles, and it's because they use these things called Kafka traps. And what they do is they give us the illusion of choice, right? You have a choice to buy whatever health insurance plan you want from the marketplace, but you don't have a choice because you're buying it all from the marketplace, right? So they trap us into decisions that are a preordained outcome. So you had never seen this before or heard this before, and it took you a solid 5 minutes.
I was shocked
to understand how, and like literally I was manipulating you while I was explaining to you about how you are being like manipulated.
It was like a magic trick.
Right. So I was like, let's play a game. It's going to be a coin toss. And if I say, we're going to say heads I win, tails you lose. And I go, about, if that's the case, if that's the game, about how often do you think you would win? And what did you say?
You said 50% of the time.
And then I go, okay, try again. And I hadn't even pulled out a coin.
Actually, maybe you could win more of the time and I could win more of the time. And then I said, maybe it's 0% of the time. I was like going all over the place with my percentages probability.
Right. And at one point you go, I would win 100% of the time. And I was like, great. I can't wait to play this game. So I went and I grabbed a dime or whatever from the coin jar, and I came back over and I was like, all right, let's play the game. All right, heads I win, tails you lose. I said, call it. And then you go heads, and then it flipped, and it came heads, and I go, oh, great, heads, I win. And you're like, wait a minute. And then I go, all right, call it again. Let's play again. And you were trying to like understand what was happening, but it was too late. We were already playing the game. You had already made the choice. You were playing the game. And I go, call it, heads or tails. Heads I win, tails you lose. And you go tails, and then I landed on tails, and I go tails, you lose. And then I was like, call it again. And by the third or fourth time,
I didn't want any of the options.
by the third or fourth time, you realized what I was saying. I had manipulated you by saying heads, I win, tails, you lose.
Because they're both heads you lose and tails you lose. But for heads, you said, I win. So I thought that was different than I lose.
Right.
Yes.
This is how we're manipulated. This is how this is how we are manipulated. These are called Kafka traps.
Try this with your family at home tonight. This would be fun.
Yeah, they are fun. I mean, a lot of people,
your friends.
A lot of people have heard these things. Like they've heard heads I win, tails you lose. It's kind of like it's a pretty common saying. Like most people have heard those kinds of things before.
I just trusted you so much. I didn't think you were going to mess with me in that way.
It's a very sophisticated. It's a very sophisticated thing. So it's a Kafka trap is to produce a kind of free-floating guilt in the subject necessarily, right? And I'm looking for this, like it's very complicated to try and give you a sort of explanation that people will be able to grasp onto these things. But essentially that like you place a burden on the other person and you're being manipulated. Linguistic tricks people use to deceive and manipulate, right? And
such as saying right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Heads I win, tails you lose, right?
Right. So, for example, one of the things that I noticed, like, there's this there's this one libertarian that we've been talking about lately, Scott Horton. He's like the big anti-war guy, right? And one of the fallacies, which is a soft fallacy that he uses, is called a gish gallop. And this is how he uses people to this is how he manipulates people. A gish gallop is a style of argumentation in which somebody asserts as many half-truths and falsehoods as possible in a short time span, like machine gun style, knowing that their opponent has no way of debunking and refuting every single point that's presented in the time limit given.
Oh, wow.
So the gish gallop is about the quantity, not the quality of the arguments. So if I'm like a very fast debater, as I am, I could, if I said a whole bunch of things that were either half truths or complete and total truths, you won't have time to debunk every single one, right?
Oh.
And so that's called a gish gallop, right? And these are ways that people use to manipulate people, right? So heads I win, tails you lose.
Do you think the person talking really knows that what they're saying is not true? Or do you think they believe it?
A lot of people have convinced themselves that what they believe is true. Other people are bullshit artists, right? They know that what they're saying is a lie, and they are deliberately manipulating other people. Politicians do this all the time. They do this all the time. A gish gallop is a very effective way of, you overwhelm someone with information, and knowing that it makes you sound like you're hyper intelligent, and because people can't sit down and fact check you there immediately, you don't get called out on it. So it's like, oh, well, I'm brilliant because you couldn't refute what I said. You couldn't refute, so you must be wrong. Well, no, you just said 20 bullshit lies and then one half truth, and then you focused on the half truth, and then you moved the goalposts away from the half truth to point to the partial point of the truth versus the other half that you completely lied by omission because you didn't include all this information that's also a part of this. So it's a lie by omission. So being manipulated is very easy. It's easy to be manipulated.
Oh, it is
it's
easy.
very easy to manipulate. So you have to learn these tricks and rules that are being used against you. Andy Opperman says, heads I win, tails you lose. Also known as your standard terms and conditions you sign for everything these days. Very true.
Yes, when you sign your name to any document, you're losing.
Yep, for sure. Stephanie, we've got about 12 minutes left. What do we want to end on today? We didn't get to a lot of our topics.
Oh,
you know what we should do?
The birds?
You know, we're not going to get to the birds, but you know what? One last little topic before. Actually, we'll do 2 little topics.
About
Okay.
millennial socks?
No, we're going to talk. We've got.
I am wearing ankle socks, and I just want to say that is a millennial trait. Apparently, I learned that Gen Z. Yeah, the Gen Z. Yeah, that's the new generation. They apparently wear high socks, so that's how you can tell. I wear low ones, but the young kids wear the high ones.
Yep. I'm going to put a picture or video up on the screen, and I want our audience members to answer this question, specifically the men. I'd like to hear their thoughts.
I love this.
Okay, here we go. All right. So I tell you what, I know we've done this before, and it seems like, a little thing, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to do today. We've got like 2 or 3 more awesome topics. We don't have time for all of them. Like, we literally really only have like 6 minutes left.
Okay.
If you want us to continue today, we'd like to ask you to send in Rumble Rants.
Oh.
And we'd like to try and raise $50 I don't know that we can do it in 10 minutes. Okay.
So we'll stay an extra 30 minutes if
we'll
we
stay
raise
an extra
money.
30 minutes. Okay. So
if we
can
extra $50 raised.
So we've got 10 minutes.
Okay.
Probably, I don't know if it's going to happen. That's kind of a tight timeline. So I'll say we're going to go for at least 10 minutes. We're going to try and finish as strong as we can. If somebody donates $50, we'll stick around another 30 minutes. We'll do the other topics. Racist bird names. This next one that I'm going to show you, which I think you definitely are going to want to spend some time talking about. But it's up to you. It's up to you. Like, so it's up to you. If you make at least $50 worth of Rumble Rants, we'll stick around another 30 minutes. We'll give you a little bit extra time with me and Steffi today. So, all right, ready to go?
Ready.
All right, there you go. All right.
Show us the lady.
Let's show the lady. Here we go. So the men out there, take a look at this. Do you find this attractive? Do men actually find muscular women like this? Why are you laughing, Stephanie? Why are you laughing?
I know what I find attractive.
Okay. Do men actually find muscular women like this attractive? Send us a text, 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. You can text it in or you can drop it in the chat. Stephanie, when you saw this video yesterday or this morning, you had a lot to say about it. Okay. You had a lot of thoughts about this. Richard has already weighed in and he says,
what does Richard think?
He says, no.
He does not think that woman is attractive.
He does not find muscular women that are built like this to be attractive. Okay. So we've got our first response. So Stephanie, take it away.
I don't find her to be attractive either. What I find to be attractive is generally slender women with just like average characteristics, not too huge chest, not too huge. Oh my God, was that music playing?
Yeah, sorry.
Not too huge, but not like Kardashian, but just generally slender, average proportions. Maybe a little bit of extra fat, not too skinny, because when you see the bones, that's not good. So yeah, average. So for me, that woman looks like a man. He look like a man.
He look like a man.
He look like a man. And for me personally, like when I work out, you can't see my arms very well right now, but when I work out, usually I do get big. My legs get big, my arms get big. And I actually had somebody ask me once in my sister's wedding photos, because I was working out a lot during that time, weightlifting. Someone was like, "Oh, did you gain weight?" And I was like, "No, that's muscle."
Okay, I want to let you continue. I do have to say, Andy Opperman dropped $20 in the rants. Thank you. For those who are like, I can't make a donation through the Rumble app on my phone, you can make at wakeupamericashow.com/support.
So people can't make rants on their phone?
They can't make rants on their phone, apparently, which kind of sucks.
I think I can.
I'm not sure. I thought I had it on my app.
$sign.
Can you? Hold on. Let's take a look. We don't want to, we've only got 7.
Like give ourselves money or something.
We've only got 7 more minutes left to go. If we raise $30 more, we're going to stick around an extra 30 minutes as we've promised.
Yes, Camelia, I know it doesn't matter what women think is attractive in women.
It does matter. It does. I don't see
we compete with each other. So we're the ones that tell each other how we should look, ultimately.
Women set women's body and beauty standards, in my opinion. For example,
there's this girl named Eugenia Cooney. She's this YouTuber who is extremely anorexic. And she is literally stickly skinny to the point of death. And like there are people that think she's attractive, but it's like that is just too gross. I don't even think any man would want that person.
So we're talking about right now whether or not, and we're specifically asking men, although women can have an opinion as well, is do men actually find muscular women like this attractive? Do men, and Stephanie's had her say, and now it's going to be my time to make a say. Just a real brief update for those who are asking. So you can make a one-time donation at our website, wakeupamericashow.com/support. You can go there at the very top of all of the monthly support levels. You can do just like a one-time thing. So if you go there now and if somebody donated $30 over there right now, then that would be the 50, and we would keep the show going for another 30 minutes. Otherwise, we're going to end it here in about 6 minutes. So here's my take, because we've got more great stories. So here's my take on this. I do not find that attractive. Okay. And it's not because I find it intimidating. I don't give a crap. Like I'm not afraid of a muscle-bound woman beating me up. It's not to say that it couldn't happen. But I don't sit around at night like having nightmares about muscle-bound, like I'm sure there are plenty of men who would find it attractive. I do not. I prefer a woman who looks less like a man than like a woman. That if she's strong, great. If she's got a nice body, fine. That's good. But if it's like almost like her muscles are like bulging out like this and she's got a whole six-pack and stuff, I would just say it's not my bag, baby. Right. So like, here's the thing. You can't help how you feel. And I'm not saying all men feel this way, but I think it's probably a majority of men feel that way. That, we like what we see on the cover of Maxim magazine. Okay. We like what we see on, and what kind of women are they putting on there? Like Carmen Electra in the 90s and Jenny McCarthy. Well, they look more, so they're fit, they're strong, but they're also feminine. There's a softness to them.
Yeah.
Like I like the softness that comes with a female's appearance. And this to me strikes me as like she's gonna get angry, you know what I mean? Rawr, Hulk smash,
Yes. Yeah, and the thing that actually shocked me, I realized this a few years ago, is that men actually do not really want that skinny of women. Men like a little bit of
a little curve,
extra,
just a little curve,
a little bit of extra love.
Well, like women are supposed to have a little body fat. Women are
it
supposed
shows that you're fertile. It shows that you can carry a baby if you've got nice wide hips. I've been told before I have childbearing hips, so I find that to be a compliment. Actually,
this got people so mad though last night. This got people so angry. They're like, "Oh, I just, this is men who are intimidated and all this stuff."
What were the comments saying? Were they saying mostly, yes, we like this? Or were they saying mostly, no?
Okay. I love it, right? So she's pretty, has no tattoos, has deferred gratification skills and work ethic. At least she doesn't have an eating disorder. I talked to her. That's fine. Yeah, totally agree. Right. I love this one, though.
I'm sure it shows a lot of positive qualities in her, the fact that she looks that way.
But look at this, Stephanie. Look, liberal people look. She's got the man up there on the fence. And
oh my
she's
God!
Like
Where the woman actually lifts the man.
Yeah, exactly.
I could not carry you, Austin. I could.
I know. There's a really funny. There's a funny Louis Theroux documentary. If you've never seen it, it's awesome. You remember Louis Theroux? We used to watch. He's the British guy with the BBC. Yeah. He had a show where he went around did female bodybuilders. And he would go around and interview the men who were into female bodybuilders. So there is definitely like a fetish that some men have. Right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think men in the bodybuilding community might be more attracted to this because that's typically who you find at the gym in the weightlifting section is these women that have pretty large muscles.
Yes. And she's a pretty woman, right? And she she's obviously, feminine. Like she's not like, hyper masculine, but like, if she didn't have like breasts, I would probably think, looking at that body, I would think that was a man. If you didn't look at her face or her hair.
Yeah, because a lot of those bodybuilding women, their chests are very small. I don't know if it's because they're taking testosterone or something.
Right.
So their chest just gets really tiny.
I love it. Yeah, honestly, we're just thinking about all the time we're going to have to save not having to open jars for them. And then they're making fun of these guys. She's way too muscular, big old fat guy right there. Stuff like that. Good point. Good point. Right. But I mean,
some men love women that are very overweight.
Yes.
I mean, there's that. of attraction.
Right. And I mean, here's a good point. Somebody says, in general, for me, no, but she's definitely attractive. I can think of a few like Gina Carano, too. Gina Carano, for sure. Yes.
Doesn't she have that bodybuilding physique?
She does. She does. Like, she's like a pretty strong, powerful woman. She was in MMA and she did a lot of that stuff. So actually, I think Gina Carano is a good example of that.
It's so tough because it's like me as a woman, I like to be in shape, but it's like I don't want to look like that. So I have to find some sort of a balance where I can stay lean, but yet be strong. And that's hard for certain body types. If your body just naturally blows up when you lift weights, it's like, what do you do?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. So we didn't hit the $50. However, Studio did just do a $10 one-time donation.
Oh, so $30 total we got.
But however, my buddy Richard, who I know is good for it, says, for some reason my payment won't go through AP. I'll have to owe you $100 until I figure out the problem. So here's what we're gonna do.
Oh my God, 100? That's a lot of money.
We're gonna trust Richard because, of course, he's our friend and I believe him.
Thank you, Richard.
We're gonna go an extra 30 minutes, and Andy in studio.
You said studio also gave money. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. So we're gonna just believe Richard, and I'm sure he will.
I mean, we got $30 anyway.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate that.
There.
So let's give him an extra 30 minutes. However, just very briefly, we are going to take a real brief little commercial break just for a couple of minutes so we can get some water, go to the bathroom. We'll be right back for another 30 minutes, extended Wake Up America show. We got lots more great content. Birds are racist. We didn't finish with the list of rude phrases. We've got at what age are our brains adult? Why do our dogs' feet smell like Fritos?
The Frito convo. I know. I think Quest Fanning was wondering about that.
We've got it all.
Yes.
When we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Expanse of time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but oh, what a year it's been. In September 2022, Austin and Stephanie Peterson embarked on a journey to wake up America. They began humbly, with just 20 souls tuning in, learning, listening, and though challenges arose, like the looming shadow of YouTube demonetization, their spirit never waned. And now, thanks to you, thousands rise with the sun to join them, to listen, to engage, to be a part of a community. So here's to you, and to Wake Up America, for memories shared, for friends made, for the journey ahead, and for never, ever forgetting to rise and freedom. Happy anniversary.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Halloween is coming. The festival of Samhain approaches, and your lazy butt doesn't have a Halloween costume yet? How can you pledge allegiance to the Dark Lord this year and possibly offend everyone at the same time? Visit the AP for Liberty shop and get your shirt today. The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. So grab your government is scary tee and tell everyone at the party that you're here to help. Other great seasonal items are available as well, so don't miss out. Then visit AP for Liberty shop today. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
I'm a public defender.
I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Who's that wonderful girl? Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter? Who's that wonderful girl? Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter? Who's that wonderful?
Expansive time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but
Good morning.
Did
Rise
we
and
just start? What
yeah,
happened?
we're back. Yes. Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. Love to see you. Hey, Levin214, thank you so much for that Rumble rant.
Levin, how much did Levin give us?
$50.
$50.
You guys are crazy. You rock. We appreciate you.
You're just too nice.
You're
Thank
awesome.
You.
Thank you guys for being so generous this morning here to help us to support the show and help us to grow. Our small business is definitely taking off. This last month, we have really been seeing incredible growth, especially at the shop.
I was actually just talking to you about that last night. I mean, we're also having some natural growth, which is very interesting, probably just because we've been around, our websites have been around now for a while. And so people are finding us in Google searches, on Amazon, also on Public Square. So we have these natural methods of bringing people in, and we don't necessarily have to put in as much effort to advertise anymore, even.
Right, although we still will put in effort to advertise. But like what we've noticed is that because I've worked so hard to get our shop on Amazon, on eBay, on Google, on Public Square, basically on Instagram, Facebook shop, right? So that people can buy from so many different places, that like we would sometimes get some sales directly at the shop, but now it's like we got a sale on Amazon this morning. Yesterday we had like 6 or 7 sales, and it was like some were from Public Square, some were from Google searches, one was from Instagram and stuff. So it's like, because we've worked so hard to build it up, and it's been like, you know, a year now, it's been a little over a year now we've been running the shop, we're finally starting to get like search traffic and things that are coming in. We're really excited about the future of not just the store, because the store helps us to fund the show.
Yeah.
And then since we're also raising money through the show, like our business is really actually starting to grow, and it's super exciting, and we're very thankful for you. You know, because we have dreams, we have goals, we have plans. You know, I would love to give, and I've heard her, she's heard me say this, I'd love to have Camellia have her own show, right? I'd love to be able to afford something like that, right? But if you really want to be pulling off those kinds of stuff, you got to be making a lot of money. That's just the reality, right? You don't necessarily have to make Tim Pool money, but you got to be making, you know, at least tens of thousands of dollars a month in order to bankroll those kinds of projects. Things like documentaries, which I'm looking at getting a documentary out before the election next year about the Battle of Athens. And we've had support from people for that. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Especially Andy Opperman, who's been a big, major, crucial player in all of this. We got to give it up for Andy, because he's a big,
wonderful,
huge supporter. And our friends like Levin214 and Studio 314, Camellia has been a monthly subscriber since we started. So So I appreciate you all very much for being a supporter and for helping to contribute. All right, now you paid for us for the content. Let's get to the content.
Yes.
Let's finish the conversation we were having just a minute ago about the question of whether or not you find muscular women attractive. I particularly don't. I don't denigrate people's choices for that, but I prefer a woman to look like a woman and not feel like she looks like a man. That's not to say. Listen, I think it's a good point to say that if you are that strong as a woman, that at least you don't have an eating disorder, one, and two, you show that you have like a delayed time preference, right? You delayed gratification, right? You're willing to like forego discipline.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And those are good qualities and healthy qualities. So I don't want to denigrate it. I just want to say that like it's not my thing. It's not my thing. So I would be
You can still have all those things and not look like a bodybuilder. You can be self-disciplined, because to be lean, you still got to eat pretty good and exercise.
Yep.
Just not lift super huge weights.
Yep, for sure. So, not sure. Some people are asking about Rumble Rants or having some trouble making Rumble Rant donations.
That's so bizarre.
It's okay. Just remember that you can go to wakeupamericashow.com/support. And I know that it's not necessarily as easy as it is to do it over on a Rumble Rant, but let me just kind of show you real quick, like what the difference is. And like you can do monthly support levels, but also I think, there should be at the very top. Here it is, just real briefly, and then we'll get back to content, guys. You can see when you come over to the support page, let's make sure it's pulled up. There it is.
Americashow.com/support.
Right. You can click on the little hamburger menu and then click on support, come down, and then it says one-time donation. So right here, you just click donate, and then that'll take you to the form that it'll ask you to fill out to donate to the show, any amount that you want, and you should be able to check out there on Square. And the reason I did that, I'll get off this real quick. The reason I set that up is because I want to become cancel proof, because like we saw what happened on YouTube, right? So like monthly support and donations there, you get the most bang for your buck over there. So anyways, okay, so back to the stories. Let's finish our topic earlier. We were talking about poor speech etiquette and 7 rude phrases. We'll figure out a way.
Well, figure out a way.
Right. This is a conversation ender.
That's really insensitive.
Right.
If somebody's like, I don't know how to do that. What do I do? And you're like, well, figure out a way.
Right. So if you're a boss, it's important to delegate, right? And leadership demands that if an employee needs help, your job is to help work through it, not insult them. Okay. So like try warmer language, right? And an open approach. Not everybody's in a leadership role, but if somebody comes to you with a real question of like, I don't know how to do this or I can't fix this, you don't just say, well, figure out a way.
I think a lot of women say that to their husbands. A lot.
Yeah, because they don't know how to do it themselves. And there's like, yeah, you figure it out, right?
Right. And that's not helpful. It'll save you a lot of time and energy if you just tell the person clearly what you want, how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, just say, I don't know.
Right. Here's another one. So I used this phrase the other day when they blew up that Hamas commander at the refugee camp. It is what it is.
Yes. What's so funny is that in therapy, actually, we use that as a mantra a lot. It is what it is, because I teach my clients a lot about acceptance. Acceptance is so important. And so in order to remind yourself about accepting things that are outside of your control, you say, it is what it is. And that can actually calm you sometimes. But I think it can come across as insensitive if someone's just like, oh my God, my heart is aching, my life is crumbling. And you're just like, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's like, no. It's a little too early to say that.
Well, it's kind of like, so last night in the debate with Dave Smith, like I made this point where I'm talking because he's like, outrage, babies killed. It's horrible. It's terrible. It's crimes, war crimes against humanity, stuff like that. I'm like, Dave, I don't have an infinite amount of emotional energy to expend on every conflict that happens around the world. I can't possibly sit around and cry in my beer over absolutely every pain and suffering item that comes around here. At some point, it is what it is.
I know. It triggered a lot of people.
Oh, it triggers people. It triggers a lot of people because they're all jerking off at night, like to the dead babies, watching them online. And it's kind of like, please stop masturbating to the dead babies online. And please start to consider that withholding an emotional response from something might be the best way to react to something, and to look at something for what it is and to try and judge it based on the actual scenario it is rather than the emotional response that you have to it, which I see is kind of like a liberal female thing. Right, is to say it is what it is. It's been done. We can't change it. Maybe we can do better in the future. So things could have been done better. We can analyze it. But at the end of the day, It is what it is.
It's like saying que sera, sera. What will be, will be.
Whatever will be, will be.
I feel like it's almost a stoic.
Yes.
A stoic phrase.
But it's like, leftists especially, like they want us to be freaking out about every single thing around the world. It's like, oh my God, you got to stop the colonizers, the colonization, and we got to tear down statues. And there's a Thomas Jefferson sign. I'm so triggered. They're triggered by absolutely everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an infinite amount of emotional energy to give to everybody at any point in time. It's like, because here's the thing. It's like welfare. If you give it to everybody, they're only going to want more. And people out there, they're emotional vampires.
Oh yeah.
And they will. And so I actually like the phrase, it is what it is. This article is like denigrating it, but I love it when I can just say, it is what it is. It is what it is. I can't change it.
Yeah.
And you come to me and you engage in what I call emotional blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what and the best thing to say, it is what it is. I refuse to be emotionally blackmailed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like you're a bad person and you should feel guilty because you don't feel guilty about this. You should feel guilty that you don't feel guilty. Well, I don't feel guilty about every crime that is perpetrated by other people on this planet.
You're able to emotionally regulate better than them. You have a higher EQ, to be quite honest. Yeah, that really is a healthy way of thinking.
It is.
You are accepting. It's called acceptance and commitment therapy. It's accepting what is and committing to try to do your best despite what's outside of your control.
Exactly. I can't control it, right? I have an opinion on things, but my opinions are not based on dead babies. My opinions are based on what is logical, what is moral, what is ethical, what is realistic, what is pragmatic, what is possible, right? Why are actors acting in this way, or that way? Like what people acting in their own self-defense, some people acting in aggressive. Can we actually boil this down? Not be like the atrocities, the war crimes. It's like, shut up, bitch. Like, can you actually have an argument about this and understand why people are acting in this kind of way? And then once you've done that, can you then take a big picture view of it and say, okay, at the end of the day, this is my analysis for such, and it either is this or that, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is.
We can't deny reality.
Exactly. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. We're glad and grateful to have you here. We're doing a little bit of overtime today. Yeah. OT. We're in overtime. Thanks to our friends who have donated to us, especially Event 214, Studio 314.
Andy Opperman and possibly Richard.
And Quest Fanning. And I think Richard has given us an IOU. So thank you, Richard, for all of your support of the Wake Up America show. You can also support the show for free just by clicking that like button and subscribe to the channel so you can come back and join us, especially our new friend CJ to 824. She says, along the same lines, we like Tony from The Sopranos. What are you going to do, eh?
Oh, we love The Sopranos. And had me watch that, and I love that show.
What are you going to do, eh?
That's right.
It's anti-Italian discrimination.
Right.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Capiche. All right. Get the gabagool. Next topic. Oh, let's see. We got 15 minutes. So
talk about the birds.
You know what? Oh yeah, we're almost done with the speech etiquette.
Okay.
Obviously.
In the dog paws.
We're gonna get there too.
What topics do you all want to hear?
Okay, so I'm gonna let you vote. Do you want to hear about racist birds, or do you want to hear why your dog's feet smell like Fritos? Vote in the chat. Okay, send us a vote in the chat. Tell us, do you want us to talk about dog feet smelling like corn chips, or would you like to hear about racist birds? Drop that in the chat, and we would be very grateful. Okay, so let's finish our rude phrases. Yeah. Obviously, the word subtly or not so subtly conveys that anyone disagreeing with the speaker is wrong. Even if you don't realize it, using it can make you seem arrogant.
Oh, this is the word.
I've never cared about seeming arrogant. Obviously.
Oh, yes. And I think a lot of people accuse you of that.
They do. But that's because they like... Here's the thing. I don't give a shit because, like, I read
it is what it is.
It is what it is, right? So the thing is, I've read Ayn Rand, okay, and I agree with Ayn Rand in her views of the ego, and I actually think that like humility this desire to be humble. And I know this goes against the grain of what most people are in society, but I don't care. It is what it is. I think most people I think humility is, and this is Nietzsche, pure Nietzsche. That is like the morality of the slave, being humble. And it's a Christian morality, right? Humility, being to be like Jesus, right? You're
being humble naturally. I feel guilty not to be.
You are humble naturally. I am naturally not humble, and I also don't make apologies for it. And I don't. And what I see as what some people call arrogance, I just call strength. Right. I'm confident, and I am self-aware.
Yeah.
Right. I am capable of self-reflection. So I'm not a narcissist because I don't engage in solipsism. Right. I don't think I'm the only person on the planet, and I don't care about other people but myself. That's not what I am.
Right.
But yes, I am egotistical because I see the ego as a good thing. Ayn Rand's novel Atlas Shrugged is
I love that book.
It's all about not making apologies for who you are, not being humble about your accomplishments, being proud. Remember, at the end, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read Atlas Shrugged yet, but spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Atlas Shrugged the movie or who have not read the book. At the end, all of the great people of society are tired of having their wealth and their wealth taken away from them, redistributed, and having their names besmirched for doing great things and giving great things to society, whether trains or steel or technology or music, for example. All of the great men and women of society get tired of being set upon by the parasites of society, and so they decide to walk away. And so they stop the motor of the world, because all of the people in society who are keeping everybody else afloat, right, the Elon Musks of the world, for example, they decide, all right, we're done. We're tired of having our resources leached and our good names besmirched by the parasite class. So they go to Galt's Gulch and they leave society and they go start a new society away from it. And then regular society collapses because everybody else was just living parasitically upon those who were the productive class. Yes, exactly.
Maybe we should do that.
But that's ego. You might call it even hubris, which is a negative term, but that's because the United States and the Western world has been taken over by the philosophy and the teachings of Jesus, which is, blessed are ye that, like the come to me as the little children.
It's
and
about lifting your fellow man up, right? It's like you should care about that.
Yeah, it's about self-sacrifice, and humility is that's a big Christian virtue. So it's very difficult, especially for Christians, even Christians who might agree with me, chafe at my ego, but that's because I've rejected that part of Christian morality, which demands humility, which I see as I see that as the morality of the slave.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It makes sense. So the word then is obviously. If you say something like obviously, it almost makes the other person feel stupid. As if they don't know as much as you.
Yep. I'm seeing some votes for dog feet Fritos, some racist birds.
We got to count it up. How many
birds
votes
aren't real. I'd rather talk about Sparta. It looks like we're about even on birds versus dog Frito feet. So you guys are going to probably leave that to us to make that determination about what we're going to talk about.
Maybe we can talk about both.
We're not going to have time to talk about both. We're not going to have time to talk about both. But let's finish this one. Obviously is something that you could say like that it makes you seem arrogant. Fine, obviously. And then number 7, if you want my honest opinion, that's another one, like a rude phrase. If you want my honest opinion, right? First of all,
shouldn't your opinion be honest to begin with?
Yes, exactly. Good point, Stephanie. Good point.
At least mine usually is.
If you want my honest opinion, right? Being my honest opinion. Okay, so that's a rude statement. And so here's the thing is, or I was just joking. I was just joking. Right.
Oh.
So first of all, did somebody actually ask for opinion? Because I honestly, I don't like when somebody gives me their opinion and I haven't asked for it.
Yes. Like if somebody's asking me for advice, then I probably would say, okay, well, if you want my honest opinion, here's what I would, almost prefacing it as like, don't get mad at me. You're asking for this. So maybe that's why I say it, because I just want them to know, like, this is going to be tough love here. So listen.
Okay.
And I'm joking thing. I just said that to my mom the other day, but it's because I'm really bad at telling jokes without telling people I'm telling jokes. I feel bad for like joking without revealing myself.
Right.
So that's why I'm always like, I was just joking. But I'm serious.
so
Like, I really was just joking.
So people want help, support, and solutions. Saying maybe instead of offering your honest opinion is a perfectly fine preface. Saying sorry if a rude comment falls flat is more productive than saying, "Oh, I was just joking."
Oh, so if you offend somebody, then you say, "I was just joking."
Instead of saying I was just joking, just say sorry.
Oh, I say sorry all the time.
Yes, just say sorry. Right? Don't say it too much.
Yeah, don't say that. That's going to show your insecurities. Don't do that. And don't say just. I'm adding a word to this
There you
list.
go.
Don't say just. When you say, I just think that. No. Just shows that you're insecure. Take that out of your vocabulary.
Let's hit the next topic because we've got 7 minutes to go and it's a fun topic. Stephanie, we're going to go ahead and make the decision on this one. Why do our dogs' feet smell like Fritos? Stephanie, our dog, we have 2 French bulldogs. Tell the audience in case they don't know.
So we have 2 dogs. We have George. He's British. Name is George. And he has a floating eyeball. And then we have Calvin, and he's also a Frenchie. Hello, my name is Calvin. So you might recognize their voices from our commercial.
And their feet smell like
Fritos. And Austin and I, we do bathe them regularly. Austin clips their nails. Yes, we have special paw wipes, also paw butter that we have.
We
nose
use paw butter
yes.
on them. We keep them nice and moist.
And also we use this special I call it itchy mousse, but it's antibacterial mousse for their feet when they're licking their feet. And so we even put that on there. So their feet still smell like Fritos.
Yeah, no clue. Well, animal experts are sharing why dogs shouldn't be shamed if their paws smell like Fritos corn chips. Dr. Amy Stone, a doctor of veterinary medicine, says dogs have normal levels of bacteria and yeast on their feet that leads to the Fritos smell. Ooh. So the familiar Fritos scent typically comes from a Pseudomonas bacteria and yeast, and it's nothing to howl about. Dog owners should not attempt to get rid of the smell. Dogs are not supposed to smell like roses or lavender. They appreciate the aroma of their own skin. So other pooch pundits agree. Dr. Amy Atlas, founder of City Pets, says dogs want to smell like dogs. You don't want to mask the odor or add something to it. Dog owners who find the smell repugnant
all these dog terms. That's
should
funny.
keep some puns, should keep some distance from their pups' paws and use unscented wipes and soaps specially formulated for dogs. So if the paws start to smell like wet socks or moldy cheese, that's different because those scents indicate that the bacteria has developed to a level that needs attention. So check their paws frequently. Doctor says, make a habit of doing a foot check at least twice a week. Joni Stiles says dog shaming. Well, lol.
Aw, we're dog shaming. We don't do anything to deserve that. They don't shame us.
Symptoms to keep an eye out for include redness, bumps, hair loss, swelling, pain, and licking of paws, which we are...
our dogs have allergies, so they always have like redness on their paws, especially when the grass is really green and they're running outside. So, yeah, I'm not really bothered by the Frito smell. Are you?
Sometimes, yeah, but I didn't know what it is, right? So Elizabeth Fanning Press says yeast infection from licking. Talk to a vet. It can be an imbalance. Yes, it can be. It can be. So you just gotta keep an eye on it.
Yeah, we do try to limit the licking. We have like this little blow up cone that our dogs wear when they're licking a lot, and it really helps.
And here's the thing: this didn't influence my decision to talk about this topic. Although we did get this text message. Somebody says, "I'll give you $10 if you talk about dogs and corn chips."
Aww.
When it gets some free time. So
thank you.
That was our friend from earlier who somebody who's texted me actually before. So
thank you for
thanks
that suggestion.
for that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for that. And we did talk about it. So I'd love it if you'd make a generous $10 donation. Another listener texted in, says, question about small Liberty outlets. Any recommendations for beard oil, balm, and other care products? Ooh.
Oh, yes, I do.
Go ahead.
It's actually a product that we sponsor.
Do we?
Shell Shock CBD.
Oh,
they actually have beard oils. They have soaps. They continue to expand. Their main thing that they sell is CBD oils, Delta 8, Delta 9. They also sell wellness gummies, which I take. They do not have CBD in them. And there's apple cider vinegar, ashwagandha, And then the last one is elderberry. So I take all three of those. So yeah, Shell Shock CBD. And there's a special referral
Use our
link,
code
actually.
AP for Liberty. Yeah. So if you go to shellshockcbd.com, use the coupon code AP for Liberty and you'll get 10% off. So if you are looking for good, healthy dog products, our buddy John Brooks got you covered and we'll give you 10%.
He also has dog CBD as well for pets.
It's up
so
to you.
it's safe for them.
For sure.
Yay, I'm so glad I knew a company.
You did it.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Have we had a fun time today, would you say?
We have.
I think so.
I think we've had good conversation.
What was your favorite topic today, Steph? What was your favorite topic, listeners?
My favorite topic? Oh, talking about that muscular lady.
The muscular lady?
I love judging people. It's so fun.
It is fun to judge people. We know. We definitely love it. Stephanie, when do we get to see you? What's your schedule like here on the show?
So I'm here on Fridays. Friday mornings from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. And all the other days, I try to watch as much as I can and be in the chat when I'm not working. My other day job is therapy.
What are we asking people to do if they want to try some of our coffee?
If you want to try some of our coffee, go to apforlibertyshop.com and you can see all of our founding flavors, coffee varieties based on founding fathers. And
what are we doing this weekend?
Are going to be adding some holiday blends to our coffee supply. So you'll have some holiday options and very, very soon some K-Cups. I know some of you are very excited for that.
For sure.
That will be coming down the pipeline.
Yeah,
Just waiting for availability.
We're not exactly sure yet. Plus, we have some other surprises as well coming down the pipeline for our coffee. So what I recommend you do,
some things that'll be really fun.
You're going to love it. Make sure that you go ahead and try a bag, because I know what's going to happen is you're going to love it. You're going to want to be a part of our coffee subscription program, because you may be surprised by what comes in the mail when you get your coffee subscription. And I can't give away anything just yet, but today's the day. Go to apforlibertyshop.com. Go to the coffee bundles page. If you buy more than one, you get a discount. Make sure you select ground or whole bean. Set it for a 2-week delivery, 1-month delivery, 2-month delivery, 3-month delivery. You'll be surprised what you get in the mail from us over at apforlibertyshop.com. Stephanie, say goodbye. We love them.
As always, be free.
All right, be free. Love you guys. We'll see you on Monday at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time here on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the 4 olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah, who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have glad you came out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. In the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.